too. It's not.
Series E Draft Day Season 1 for Guild Secure's Drive. Now, before we get into the awesome action of what Draft Day is, let's talk about how Alex and I got here. So we got to go back about 22 years. 22 years about how we came together for the love of Street Fighter, right? We met in the arcade. I actually saw him first on a VHS tape of him winning the championship for Alpha 3. And from there, we just became close friends in the arcade. But, you know, he was always the better one, you know, always kicked my ass in all this. And at that point, I kind of realized, you know what, I can't, it's not I can't get to that level, but I just wanted to focus my energy on something else. And that was community building. So with my mom's credit card, I dropped down $1,000 at Best Buy and bought a digital 8 tape camcorder to capture footage at Southern Hills Golfland, just to show what what SoCal fighting, the fighting game community was all about. And from there, Alex can tell you how he saw that and was like, "What is this going on?" So Alex, please let him know.
Okay, all right. If you guys have been living under the rock, you know, I'm Uncle Valle. I've won many tournaments back in the arcade generation. But as my man said, you know, with you know, the history involved in how we got here, part of the progressing lessons I've learned was going to the arcade one day and seeing this big man with a freaking camcorder on a tripod next to the arcade machine. That was unheard of. Like, you go to the arcade, you just go to the arcade, you just play games. You don't see no media or anything like that. So I asked him, like, hey, dude, like, what's this? And he goes, oh, I'm, you know, just capturing footage. I mean, oh, you just threw your camcorder? And he goes, nah, man, direct feed. You know, that's like, I don't even know what the hell that meant, you know, and I was the player, right? As he said, I just went there to play. So what I didn't realize, you know, I was like, dude, like, this is, I mean, you know, where we are today, modern day streaming and everybody's content is king. This guy did that in the 90s, okay? And, you know, he can actually tell you what kind of doors that opened once he did that.
Yeah, so I mean, this is before the days of YouTube, right? We didn't have all the awesome internet to go to and look up stuff. It was just essentially me wanting to capture footage of people playing, right? My friends now that I made an arcade. And from there, it got the attention of the Cannon brothers, who started Shoryuken.com back in the day, or SRK for short. And from there, it revolutionized what FGC content sharing was, right? It even got attention from players in Japan. Because when they came over here for some of the B5 or the B and the Evo tournaments early on, they're like, hey, you're Shin Jae-in, right? I'm like, yes, I am Jimmy Wynn. And it's like, oh yeah, I watch your stuff all the time. We learned so much from the American footage. And I'm like, that was, you know, nice to hear. That it was just me one day just wanting to do something for the community, garnering that type of attention. And from there, it really changed the landscape of how content sharing became for FGC. And that led to other opportunities of me becoming part of the staff for Evo, you know, helping them do footage capturing, and kind of set this trend of now the DVDs that people bought back in the day for Evo, right? That set that whole trend. But also gave opportunity like, oh, this is what FGC is about. This is what these games are about. And Alex can talk about how that gave players opportunities too.
Yeah, so from that arcade generation and learning the ropes on how this community building stuff and capturing footage worked, fast forward to like 2009, and you know, there was a bit of a drought with like fighting games and stuff, and it was called the Dark Ages. But when Street Fighter 4 came out, there was a big gap in talent, and I took it. Me and Jimmy hadn't spoken in years from there because we all did our own thing. So, but I took it into consideration to train the SoCal community, and Jimmy saw that and he's all like, "Dude, this is pretty awesome. You know, I haven't seen you in a while. You mind if I show up?" Absolutely. So now this time I'm bringing some sort of an opportunity to train everybody, and Jimmy then comes over and he goes, "This is great and all, but like, what are you gonna do with this?" And here I am, just like at the arcade again. Like, what do you mean? I just want to train these guys. He goes, "Nah, you know, I think we should talk and probably do something with it, because now we're in a modern era. You know, capturing footage and event organizing. It's a lot more work than you think." So he can actually let you know how that sprung the Level Up brand.
Yeah, so the trailer for Street Fighter 4 when it dropped really caused this wave of energy throughout all the community because all us old heads were like, oh, finally a new Street Fighter after all these years. And that really brought back memories of me doing the content stuff. And luckily, YouTube was getting up there. Justin.tv, which is now Twitch.tv, was starting their streaming thing. And from there, like Alex said, I asked him the question, what do you want to do with the training? He's like, well, I just want to train people. I'm like, why don't we just broadcast it to the whole world, right? Let people show, let you show people how Alex Valle plays Street Fighter. And from there, I really had to go around and think, okay, do we do post-produced content or do live streaming content? And we settled on live streaming stuff because of AJ Papa. You know, he brought his gear and it's streaming, and it really gave me an idea of, you know what, why don't you just do that? And then I started investing my own money to getting equipment and doing that. And then really at that point, you know, I think you brought in and said, James, David, co-commentate Wednesday Night Fights, right? So that kind of kickstarted the whole commentating thing at our weekly at that point. And then from there, I just branched on too many opportunities, right? We came up with, we resurrected the name SoCal Regionals. You know, Wednesday Night Fights became a thing, and then we started doing a lot of events locally for small groups here and there because they saw what we were doing. Like, oh, you guys can help me, you know, showcase my tournament. And our first year was nothing but doing things for the community, and it really was an extension of what I wanted to do back in the days. You know, bringing community, bringing people together, cultivating the scene in many ways, and from the player side, also cultivate a lot of things, right?
Yeah. So again, you know, I'm coming from the player side, right? I'm not the technical guy. It took me quite a long time to be mentored to do a lot of the organization and streaming. You know, shout outs to, of course, Jimmy and AJ and Frank and, you know, Brian, everybody involved, you know, with the early level up organization. So, but the thing is, I've always had the community, you know, like, and as far as they knew who I was and they trusted us, you know, with like events. And we were inviting players from all over the world, getting people like Gamer Bees to come to the U.S. For the you know, after his win versus Justin Wong in Evo, because he was undiscovered talent. And then there was also Sako, his first U.S. visit. You know, we invited him down as well. So we were like doing so many community things while, you know, Jimmy was like trying to, okay, now that we're getting talent, you know, from not just the commentary side, hosting side, player side, how are we going to put all of this together and start bringing new shows and new ideas?
Yeah, so there's like, you know, the opportunities, just as we talked about, is how to give not just the players, but also people behind the scenes opportunities, working events, talent that's upcoming, right? And from there, started working with a bunch of publishers. You know, I started working with Axis, Arc System Works, Capcom, and, you know, fast forward to these past 11, 12 years, I've done stuff like Red Bull Kumite, Battlegrounds, Conquest. We worked together on Capcom Pro Tour Online, as well as some offline events. It's just too many to name, but it's a lot of events, a lot of opportunities for everybody, which brings me to introduce what Series E is.
Yeah, so here we are, Series E. I know there's a lot of talk about, you know, Street Fighter and stuff like that, but you know, Jimmy has a long, deep-rooted connection with the Guilty Gear scene, all the way from back in the years 2000s. And then, but the thing is, like, fighting games, as we were starting to like grow the community, meaning adding more games to our events, the anime community has always been this, like, you know, it's new, or there's just some people that play it, and it's typically, I mean, I'm being real, it was treated as like a side thing, and we were like, why? You know, there should be like more inclusive, and we should have more conversations on how to like bring this to the main stages. Yep. It took lots of years. Let's be honest. It took a lot of years to really get the anime community to like catch up to where the modern presentation of like fighting games, or like Street Fighter or Tekken or Mortal Kombat and whatnot. So Esports Arena, you know, came into play, and that really helped us. Esports Arena has been actually a blessing in housing Wednesday Night Fights and a lot of our events, and to really put the weekly gathering into fruition, because that was the first place that we can actually put all the games together every week. And that's for us is where truly the anime scene grew, especially with Guilty Gear.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, to add a little more substance to that is, Alex mentioned 2000. That's when Guilty Gear X came out. That's when me, Ben Tragic Curitan, and Professor X was the only players that played that game in Southern Hills Golfland. Yeah. And I would say that was kind of like the birth of SoCal FGC at that point, because it was just three of us playing, and no one knew what this game was all about. Yeah. But then trying to do an analogy to what Alex said, yes, the arcade is what we try to replicate at Esports Arena. Having all those games there, having everyone come in and just cross-pollinate as much as possible, and just try to build a scene for everyone, not just 1, 2, 3 games. It's literally every single game, right? Again, just bringing opportunity, just like Series E.
Yeah, and here we are, with Series E, and going back to Esports Arena. So one of the main reasons why Esports Arena and Level Up has always worked great together is because we combined visions. We both cared about developing players.
That's right.
That's the most important takeaway from all this, because we see every player coming to their first tournament. They go to our events. They don't know what to do. It's like, oh, hey, Mr. Vi, oh, hey, Mr. Shinjin, where do I go? How do I sign up? Who can I talk to? How do I get better? That's literally what we have to, deal with every week. But you know what? We learn to say, hey, you know what? Now you have Guilty Gear over here. You have BlazBlue over here. You have, a Persona over here. You have there's so many now. And they felt like, wow, the anime scene has a home. And moving towards today, Series E brought that opportunity even further, which now, coming out of the development side of the players, now the players have a chance to become a sponsored player by a reputable brand.
Right.
Yeah. And that's one of the great showcases that Series E and Esports Arena has brought, even from their other games like Apex. So Apex Legends, they've done an amazing job with cultivating brand new talent from not just commentary, sound familiar, players, yep. Right? Social media, everything comes out of the grassroots. And my expectations, for this is it's about time. It's about time that we've set the groundwork together, to really take them to the next level.
Yeah, and the special part about this is, as Alex said, it was new talent, right? Because we're in the esports world, we're always used to only pro players or people who have so much recognition, they get sponsored and everything. It's hard for the guys who are trying to get into that realm or that level to get that opportunity. And this is what Series E is bringing, we had a circuit at Wednesday Night Fights, people played, they rank, and then now today leads up to draft day. We're gonna find out which players from the Wednesday Night Fight series of Guilty Gear Strive are going to get sponsored and by who. So
yep. Yeah, so guys, this is draft day. As Jimmy said, we're going to find out which Series E brands and players are going to be partnered up.
That's right.
All right, guys. So coming up next, draft day, baby.
Season 1.
Let's go.
All right, we're back here, draft day, Series E. This time, a new little bit of a look. We started out fresh. We had Alex Valle and Jimmy here hanging out, talking about their history, talking about how Wednesday Night Fights started, and then they kind of sprinkled on a little bit of Esports Arena in there towards the end, which obviously I love. This has been a foundational partnership that we've had from the beginning. Alex Valle came out to Santa Ana, our first store, or our first arena, obviously. I want to say back in 2014. We showed him the building, we showed him the space. He was pumped. He's like, I got this cool thing called Wednesday Night Fights, and we're like, yeah, man, that sounds good. Bring it on down. That'd be fun. We got some programming we'd like to have Wednesday night. And then he goes, I don't think you guys understand. Like, this is going to be pretty sick. Like, there's going to be a lot of people coming out. And he was getting all hyped up, posting on Instagram. And I remember looking at his phone when he was sitting there talking to us, and he was just getting notification after notification after notification. So it was one of those things that at that time, I had no idea how big it could be and how big it was until that first Wednesday night fights that we hosted in Santa Ana. And probably 500-600, maybe even more, came out for that first Wednesday night fights. And it was at that time I was like, oh shoot. Because we had prepared for it. We had everything there. But like similar esports fashion, all of a sudden 3 o'clock rolls around in the morning, 4 o'clock rolls around in the morning, and then 5 a.m. rolls around. And we're like, this is still going on. Like, there was so much of you guys coming out to compete and play, and we had to have all the cash, for the payouts and stuff that night. But so we had a lot of graveyard shifts during Wednesday night fights because of just how many people came out and the intense competition that we had. It's a shame the pandemic kind of had to take over in a certain way, but Wednesday night fights, will always have a place in our hearts here at Esports Arena, thanks to Level Up, thanks to Alex and Jimmy. And obviously now, because we have such a history with the fighting game community with Level Up, it made perfect sense to bring fighting games to Series E, to have that mono-y-mono matchup, to basically have the Intel player versus the Razer player versus the Excedrin player, and so on and so forth. That, to us, just seemed really enticing. And what better people to run this for us and to team up with us than Level Up. Their history in fighting games is obviously bar none, top elite talent that we have here. And we could not be more excited to have these fellas on board with us to run Series E Guilty Gear Strive. Because I'll tell you what, I don't know shit about Guilty Gear Strive, and I'll admit it. But at the same time, I didn't know too much about Apex Legends when we first started that out, and now I love it. So I'm very much looking forward to watching Guilty Gear. I'm very much looking forward to watching our players compete and compete against the best in the world, and of course to support that and get more involved in Guilty Gear. I might even start picking it up. I might even be able to take Alex down, to be honest. I probably will be able to. Give me 3 months, I'll be able to take Alex down. All right, Alex? 3 months. At any rate, they did kind of give you a little bit of what Series E is all about, but I will refresh you guys if it's your first time watching, which I would imagine a few of it probably is. Series E is the opportunity for you guys to compete in esports. Obviously, there's a lot of competitions out there for you guys to compete, but we are actually paying you to compete. You play twice a week, essentially Wednesday and Thursday, from the comfort of your own home. And we pay you $750 a month for competing at your own home, basically representing these awesome brands. Again, an esports player's dream is to be signed for a pro contract and to obviously be sponsored and to represent awesome brands. And we're doing that both today. That's what draft day is all about. We basically take the qualifiers from those qualifying weeks, the best players that we had. Now, today, we're attaching them to a brand. And that brand, of course, is going to be representing the player and vice versa. So, the Intel player, the Excedrin player, the Nerf player, the Splash player, etc. And we've got awesome jerseys that these guys can wear, basically say Intel on it. They'll say Esports Arena on this side, so on and so forth. So it's a really cool opportunity for the up-and-coming community to get paid to play their favorite game. And you may not be the best in the world, and that's been the biggest problem within esports, is that the dollars typically stop at the top and don't really trickle down to those of us that are trying to fight for that opportunity to become a pro. And that's what Series E and Esports Arena and now Level Up's goal is to change, right? We want to spread the wealth as much as possible, and all these brands that you see behind me have helped us make this possible. So not only that, but we are partnered with Walmart. And so going through a lot of other times today, you're going to see a great video of all of our locations inside Walmart stores. That's right. Esports Arena is inside Walmart stores. We've got 18 different locations all throughout the country. That big one over there you see, that's HQ. We're here at Irvine. This is actually our second draft day. Yesterday was our first one we've done in this building, so it's pretty momentous for us. Our Santa Ana location, unfortunately, did close down, but we've got this awesome building in Irvine now that we run all of our production out of. We are opening inside Walmart stores. That's right. You'll see a few videos later today that show you how awesome these Walmart stores look and how great they actually can be. But regardless, we're bringing that esports experience to everyone across the country in North America. We're in 18 locations now. We're planning on growing plenty more. And thanks to Walmart, they make it very convenient for us to open up free parking. You can buy your groceries there. You can support all these awesome brands. And another great thing too is that Walmart has given us some web page as well. So walmart.com/esports arena to go watch this currently live if you're not already watching us on walmart.com, and to obviously support all these brands that you see here. The reason they support Esports Arena is because we support back to them, right? That's obviously the goal. It's a nice little giving pattern here so that we can pay more players to be signed for Series E and, of course, spread the wealth as much as possible. That's our goal overall as a company. Level Up seems to be right in line with us, same on the wavelength, etc. So we're very pumped to now bring Guilty Gear Strive into Series E draft day. And on that note, we might as well just get it started. So I think, right, boys, we're going to have our first player that we're going to announce right now. Okay, so I'm going to introduce the first player here. Like I said, and I'm not going to just claim that I know everything there is to know about Guilty Gear Strive, but regardless, we've got player Razzo coming up. Let's see. He came on board. They came on board, and I'm trying to think of what I need to do next. Am I now throwing it over there, or am I doing the spinny wheel thing? What's that? We're throwing to the video of how they qualified for Series E Guilty Gear Strive Season 1. Thank you. It was a little bit different yesterday. We've got a little bit of other things going on. Work with us. That's how you know it's live. That's how you know we care so much about this community. We want it to be live. We want to interact with the audience. And I like to fumble up every so often. So let's find out how Razzo got into Series E Guilty Gear Strive Season 1, baby. Let's roll it.
The fireball. Again, I feel like some of these situations are better for FX to get started, but the super reversal style to deny the Jack O kick. And this might actually do a one-touch situation. And fine, go Russell, turn up my volume. Turn up my volume. There you go, get the throw. Back turn again. Get in. Those points get, closer to that sponsor top 8 spot. You definitely try to run the 2K, didn't work. The RC. It's the grab, punish time. Razzle with the bar. Should be able to seal it. Scratch my back. Scratch my back. Do it. Slash into the super. Razzo. Get a shit here. Oh, the ducks. Razzo runs the DP and gets it. We'll take any more pressure. Heavy addition gets the hard knockdown. Oh, the beat though. That was a standoff for a second, but Razzo getting the better of the situation. Back in this tournament, 6 feet. Gotta walk up with the crew. I dare you to do something. I dare you to do something. Because I'm going to get the counter in. I don't do it. Razzo going to seal it and take Wednesday night fight.
Welcome, everybody. Yeso here, and I am hanging out with Razzo, our first official Series E Guilty Gear player, joining me on the show today. It's obviously draft day. Razzo, welcome to the show. Excited for you for draft day. How you feeling right now?
Hey, I'm really excited.
Awesome. Excitement is good. I'm excited to have you here. Obviously, this is a big day for you, for all of the players you'll be competing with, and for Guilty Gear. So super looking forward to kicking this all off. Just a few questions I want to ask you before we get into finding out who you're going to represent here at Series E. And I want to start at the top. One of our TOs did an awesome job sending all of you players out a little survey, and there were a lot of interesting answers across all of them. I want to highlight one of them that you had. You had a great quote when describing your play style in the survey, and it kind of made me laugh. You said, quote, "I like reminding the other person that it's not their turn when I get started." Could you explain for me a bit more about kind of what you mean by that and kind of how that defines the way that you play?
Yeah, so my character Leo, he's all about just like getting that one hit, and then from there you want to just keep your turn as long as possible.
Sure.
And people just kind of associate it with just mix-ups, but more than that, to me, it's just I want to make sure that no matter what, even if I'm not mixing them up, I'm still, just posing the threat of my turn. And so no matter what, I just want to make sure that it's my turn and that they just can't, mash grab, wake up jump, anything like that.
Sure. That was I just remember reading that and I was like, that's a pretty, confident play style. I love to see it. So very interesting. Another thing that really stood out to me in the surveys was almost every other player joining Series E named you is either a rival or at least someone they're very excited to play against. One specific quote that stood out for me was one player said they, quote, "Never have a boring or one-sided set against you." How does that make you feel? What do you think that kind of says about the way that you play the game?
I feel really appreciated, and I really like playing most of these people. I have a good feeling that I know who it is. I'll go and ask them probably later,
Okay.
but I love fighting pretty much everyone that's that I fought in Series E, and I'm just excited that I'm gonna get to get better, to be honest.
Yeah, it really seems like it's a really good crop of players, and y'all have gotten to know each other fairly well throughout the qualifiers. So I think it sets up for what's going to be a very fun competition this season. So I'm certainly looking forward to it myself. You've competed in the FGC since 2018, previously in BB Tag, and now you're in Guilty Gear. What has that entire journey been like for you over the last 3 years?
So I started off actually as a player for Mortal Kombat 9.
Oh, okay.
I came in really young. It was the first ever tournament for me, and I was really really young. And the game was pretty much that was the last tournament that they ran for the game. So from there, I decided, hey, I want to get into the FGC more. This event's been really good. I really love Combo Breaker, and so I saw BB Tag at like the demo setups. And so from there, I just committed. I went out of my comfort zone because I wasn't too comfortable with the new NRS games. I wanted to try something new. And so I did. And so from there with BB Tag, I've had a long process of just, I was slowly just, I was doing all right in tourneys, like 13th and all that. But as the years went on, I felt like I was getting more consistent in that game. And I made a leap over to Strive just because I wanted to play some good online. And so here we are.
Yeah, that's definitely a consistent thing I hear is that netcode is just so good for Guilty Gear, and it's a big part of why the game has been blowing up the way that it has. So that's obviously awesome to see. Now, the season of Series E obviously on the horizon for you. You talked about wanting to get better and improve, and you're excited about the players you're going to compete against. Do you have kind of any specific goals you're setting for yourself in this season as you're going to compete?
Whether it's just getting more out there with making content or just playing more, or I'd say personally I just want to make like a big like I guess splash, or just have some like good moment at a tourney where I just feel really good about it regardless of my placement. Obviously I just want to keep winning tourneys, but more than anything I like feeling good doing so. I like having those like difficult bracket paths. I like those hard matches, those close games. So more than anything, I want a good tournament run, honestly, that I can look back at and say that like, yeah, I really had a good run.
Well, you finished first in the qualifiers, so you have that under your belt, and I would say there were quite a few impressive highlights in that little intro highlight reel for you there, Razo. So I think you've had a pretty good start on all of those goals here, and I'm certainly looking forward to getting to watch you all throughout this season. I'm going to hand you off to Tyler Endress, so it's time to find out who you're going to represent in Series E. So I'm going to hand you over there, and then we'll be back to talk about it a little more in a bit.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, Razo, how we doing? You're looking good.
Thank you. Well, outside, but
yeah,
things are great.
Cell phone, I heard you had to catch some Wi-Fi. You're on your way down for a tournament this weekend, so that's pretty good. You're obviously keeping the skills honed in. But congratulations on being the first Guilty Gear Strive drafted player. So this is our first for us. So this is really cool. Hopefully it's pretty special for you as well. But here's how we're going to do this. We got a great little segment to where we do a randomized wheel spin on the right and the left over here, and that's going to announce your partner brand that you're going to be a part of. So without further ado, we're just going to go ahead and roll, and I'd love to get your reaction afterwards. So alrighty, here we go. We got six awesome brands. You should know it. There's probably you probably love all of them, right? Because like they're sick anyway.
Yeah.
Well, we got Splash, Vizio. It's gonna be Intel. Heck yeah.
Yo.
Dude, that's awesome. Congratulations, Razo, our first player drafted for Guilty Gear Strive will now be donned Intel Razzo for Series E, and hopefully a lot of other tournaments after that. How you feeling, Razzo? It's got to feel pretty good.
I feel great, and Intel was one of the brands that I was really interested in.
I mean,
So
who wouldn't
this
be?
actually, wait, sorry.
No, I just said who wouldn't be. I'm with you on that one for sure.
Right. I'm really happy and excited.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Congratulations, Intel. Obviously, the best CPU in the game. Intel's been a phenomenal partner of ours since day one. Tyler, I'm going to have you cut to the production room to show you that we have our Intel production room, and this whole staff that's in there, they'll be cheering you on big time as you see us right there in our Intel production room, cutting the whole show together. Shoot, could you even see me in there too? Oh, yeah, look at that. Hey, I now noticed that. Anyway, so that's the whole production, but obviously Intel is one of our favorite brands. It's been a part of Esports Arena. So Razzo, you've now become one of our favorite players for Esports Arena. Congratulations. Any last words you'd like to say to the audience?
I want to say thank you so much for supporting me, and that this whole Esports Arena, like everything for this has been incredible. And also play BB Tag.
That's awesome. Hey, we appreciate that. That means a lot to us for sure. And obviously you earned it. So we really appreciate you spending the time today. Congratulations, Intel Razzo. I'm going to throw it over to JC. I think we got some more content coming up for you guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, folks, welcome back into the studio. Yeso here. I've got Alex and Jimmy here, as well as Intel Razzo, which I will say got a nice little ring to it, right?
Yeah.
So congratulations, Razzo. Excited to be joined with you once again. Gentlemen, first player off the board here. How's it feel? It's pretty cool, huh?
Oh, dude, it's awesome. And congratulations, Razzo.
Yes.
I'm running the tournament every
Thank you.
week with a bunch of people, right? Like,
Yep.
It's not just a one-man show, obviously. And Razzo, please forgive me. There's so many new talent with modern games that are just killing the scene right now. And as soon as I saw Razzo play Wednesday Night Fights, I'm like, oh yeah, that's the person to beat. Because I'm a veteran player. I know. I'm like, yo, are you the person to beat in this tournament? Like, yeah, you're the person to beat. But I got an interesting question. Remember, Razzo, I asked you a fun fact, and one of them is you said you come from the Clash Royale and rhythm game communities. Okay, mobile games, and the rhythm games. So, can you talk to us a little bit about when you actually transitioned into fighting games, and how did that work out?
So I wouldn't say I made a hard transition over to fighting games, because as a kid, my parents actually introduced me to Mortal Kombat really, really young. Maybe a little too young, but I liked the game, so I kept playing them as I grew up. And later on down the line, when I didn't have a console, I just started playing mobile games. And from there, I picked up Clash Royale as a casual thing. And I go on and I actually find success with Clash Royale. In I find a little success in that. I worked with a couple esport groups. And then I go on later to find out that there's actual fighting game tourneys. And this blew my mind. I didn't know that they actually ran tournaments for fighting games. And I'm like, so this whole time when I've been competing for a mobile game, I could be doing the same in a fighting game as well. So I go out to Common Breaker 2018 and I tried that out. I placed 9th for Mortal Kombat 9. It was one of the games I was most passionate about. And so from there, I realized it was one of the last tourneys that they were going to run for the game. And I was like, I need to go find something more. I really like this FGC thing.
I think it's perfect that you talk about your parents introducing you to Mortal Kombat. That's the most interesting fighting game franchise to get introduced to you by your parents. I mean, I always, it was a little before my time, but I always think of the people that talk about the original iteration of Mortal Kombat and figuring out how to turn on the gore in that game with the little cheat codes back in the day. And I think it's great that that's the franchise that your parents introduced you to, and obviously going from Clash Royale to that and succeeding in Column Breaker. It's awesome to see, and it's a really cool story, and it's just going to continue here now. Obviously jumping over from BB Tag now into Guilty Gear, and with the the trajectory that this title and the series is on. It's I think it's incredibly exciting, and Razzo is an incredible talent from what I've seen, and the players respect them. So I think it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, so I also want to know one thing too is you started the Series E journey, and then halfway through you participated in the Red Bull Kumite LCQ. How did you take that momentum from Wednesday Night Fights into Red Bull Kumite, and how did you use that to fuel your performance? Because you finished second, but you did a great job and just destroyed everybody in your bracket.
Thank you. Sorry, I couldn't hear the end. What was the main question you were asking? I heard about the LCQ.
Oh, just the last part of the question was just how did you take your momentum from competing in WNF and the Series E qualifiers into the LCQ and competing for Red Bull Kumite?
The LCQ was on a whole different platform, so I had to readjust a little bit. But for the most part, I went into the LCQ really confident. As soon as I went into losers, I was out for blood. I wanted everyone. And so I kind of just like dropped all my fear I had in winners. And I made a really good run. Like one that I'll probably look back at, and like I'm always gonna be like, man, second place kind of hurts. But if I look back at my runs for this game, I'll always probably look back at that one and be proud of it. My bad.
Obviously, definitely a lot to be proud of there. Any final questions that you guys have for Razzo before we keep the day rolling and get to our next player?
Yeah, actually, I do. So now that you are an Intel sponsored player in Series E, what are your expectations now? Because a lot of us before we're sponsored, we're grinding, we're doing all this stuff. Now you're partnered. The pressure is on. What are your expectations going into the Series E series?
I want to get better at instant blocking. I think I think being sponsored with Intel is giving me more motivation to just keep playing the game and just really grinding out like the very small interactions that could really shift the match. And I think instant blocking is one of them.
All right. Well, lots to work on there. You'll definitely have plenty of opportunities to continue to do that. We appreciate you joining us, Razzo. Congratulations on joining Series E and getting partnered here with Intel. We're excited to continue to watch you all throughout the season, so best of luck. We're going to hand it off to Tyler here once again to keep draft day rolling. We got another player to introduce you all to.
Awesome. Thanks, Yeso, Alex, Jimmy, and Intel. Razzo, that's got a nice ring to it, obviously. But congratulations. And from the Intel side of things, obviously, I don't really need to speak and hype Intel up too much. They're one of the best brands in the world. They literally have their hand in everything, and including Series E. So thanks to Tim, Carrie, and Lisa over at the Intel team. And they've got a little video for welcoming our newest player, Intel Razzo. So let's go ahead and roll that.
Hello, this is Jeffrey Bauer from Intel Gaming. We at Intel are honored to be a sponsor of Esports Arena. And as you can see from my Pokemon collection, gaming to me, serious business. Intel is fully committed to gamers and the gaming community, so we are incredibly thrilled for this amazing partnership. Thank you, Esports Arena. Thank you, viewers. And thank you, gamers. Hashtag gaming happens with Intel.
All right, folks, welcome back. Yeso here, and I'm joined by another special guest. We got all the talent in the building here today. I got Charles over here. You may know him from the Smash scene, but has also really fell in love with Guilty Gear, especially since the release of Strive. Charles, welcome to the show. How's it going?
Going great, and I'm just really excited for this series in general. I think it's a very big deal. Obviously, the first FGC game to be added to Series E, and I think Series E is just such an important bridge. I mean, we were talking about it earlier off camera. Just a very important bridge to help players kind of get from that middle. There feels like there's no middle ground, right? It really feels like esports in general just feels like a shot in the dark for a lot of the younger players. So I'm a huge fan of anything that's like a bridge that helps that transition phase. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, Tyler, our CEO, obviously comes up from like a heavy traditional sports background, big fan of like hockey and football and stuff. And when you look at things like that, right, you look at the NFL. You go to high school, you play high school football, you go play college, you go to the NFL. That's the traditional path. But when you look to esports, I agree. That middle ground doesn't really exist. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of defined paths for these players other than hopefully maybe you can make it to a big tournament and pop off, or maybe you stream a lot and a big player notices you and that's how you kind of start to grow. But hopefully Series E, as you mentioned, can bridge that gap, give these players the opportunity not only to grow and learn and compete consistently, but to have the opportunity to show their stuff to those top players, to those top orgs, and go from there. And on that point, let's talk a little bit about Razo. Good, interesting little interview. Razo providing a lot of insight about their kind of path into the FGC. Was there anything that really stood out to you about them?
Honestly, just like the passion, the love. I feel like most players are gonna have that, right? And Razo definitely showing that as a shining example and just sticking with it. I think it can be really hard in just like FGC or Smash, right? To really stick with it, follow through with it. I think it's a lot more accessible nowadays, especially, I mean, we keep talking about the netcode for Guilty Gear, right? So giving all these players so much opportunities to be able to like compete online and really prove themselves, because you know, back in the day, you would pretty much just have to, work your 9 to 5 while doing it, save up the money, and then travel out to a tournament, and then, it's kind of like all on the line kind of deal, and there can be a lot of nerves and stuff like that on that one like said performance or whatnot, right? So Razo's story definitely very touching and very just like sticking with it, and that's something that I really respect, when anyone just like focuses on something and sticks with it and continues the grind, essentially, right?
It feels like the FGC as a whole embraces that grind. When I look at it compared, and granted there are other games and titles where people have been doing this for so long, but when I look at the FGC specifically, I feel like that community embraces that dedication so well. It's all about, going out to those weeklies every single time, trying to improve and build, and you kind of get those rivals. You see people every time, and then you mentioned you get to that major or whatever, and that's where you're trying to put it all on the line. I think it's really fun, and obviously, the entire FGC has a very unique tint to everything about it around the different titles, and I think that's really cool, and it really sets it apart from all the other esports titles, honestly.
Oh yeah, for sure. And even just the way that they explained like their play style as well, like with Leo, just kind of, because I feel like at a lower level, Leo is just like, okay, I have the left-right mix, right? I have like the standing low, and I'll just keep mixing you. And they definitely mentioned that, but honestly, the way they explain, keeping their turn, right? And honestly, just keeping the pressure on and making sure that, they can't jump out of Leo's pressure or just like mash grab and stuff like that. To me, that really stood out on obviously showing that, Razo has that knowledge, right? And is pushing the character as much as possible. And the thing that's really cool about Guilty Gear is it's a game based off of so many different matchups, because the characters are so unique. There's not really any character that plays like another character.
Sure.
So just like, to me, that's always my favorite part with all these player interviews, really like kind of picking the players' brains about how they like what their main general strategy is, and even when it gets down to the nitty-gritty with matchups.
Yeah, it's always going to be fun, and obviously I'm definitely looking forward to getting to see these players continue to compete. Seeing a lot of the matchups from qualifiers was fascinating, and obviously they've gotten to know each other fairly well during that competition, and as that continues through Series E, I think it's going to be really interesting to see how each individual adjusts to these different matchups. They're going to know each other inside and out by the end of this, and seeing just how that develops and how those matchups shift and change and what kind of adjustments these players are going to make. I think it's going to be incredibly interesting to watch. So looking forward to that. Congratulations once again to Razo. That is our first signed player here for Series E Guilty Gear, and we've got 5 more to go here, but let's see a word from our friends over at Walmart first.
We're going to do it in 3, 2, 1.
So now you're probably getting to know a little bit of how Series E Draft Day kind of runs, right? We're obviously drafting the players. And the whole thing is we're making it all about the players, because the more success the players receive from Series E, then the more clout and the more obviously success Series E can get as well. So we really truly do want to put as much collaboration and as much effort into building out the players themselves by providing them with as much opportunity to succeed. Because in the end, we just want them to succeed so we can keep hiring and adding more players to this repertoire and obviously keep hiring more folks to build out all Series E. So again, thanks everyone for tuning in. Series E Draft Day here at the Esports Arena Studios in Irvine, California. Esports Arena Level Up in the building today, and we're drafting 6 players to professional esports contracts, and they'll be representing awesome brands. We just saw Intel get taken off the board. I believe that was the last one yesterday that got taken off the board, so now Intel is gone. But we've got another player coming up that's going to get drafted to Series E and representing, again, one of these awesome brands. Sure, Intel's sick, don't get me wrong. Intel's dope. But what is Shine going to be, right? We've got awesome brands. We've got Excedrin left. We've got Vizio left. We've got Nerf left. Yesterday, they were coming up with some cool names for Nerf, like Can't Nerf Us, like stuff like that. That was pretty sick. We've got Razer and we've got Splash. I mean, those 5 brands alone, I'd just be like, whoa, sign me up. Sign me up for any of them. I don't care. They're all sick. They're some of the best brands in the world. I want to play for Series E. So Shine is our second player that's going to be drafted. I'm not the expert on Shine, but we did create a little video that shows a little bit of highlights of Shine and how great of a player they are. So let's roll that video, and obviously we got him live coming up next.
Oh, nice slide hit. Armor coming through. And then the attempt get buster. Give me that damage. Southstar's immediate 5. He's like, I don't want any. It doesn't matter if you don't want anything of it. PRC. Too close. You're too close. You're too close to come in, Graham. Back that's used the first. Let's get anything from it. RC. Catch that damage. That's going to finish it. After losing resources, losing around, nothing going. Big hole. But the wake up crow slash. What if Tim gets fastest button? And he can make him off that. Tim get busted! It don't matter who you are. We'll win a course of the win, dog. If I get up and get that win. Shine with the Garuda gets the distance, and now putting the guy in. And God is going to put any pressure, right? You see from a lot of players, they don't get to use bar, but yo, Shine gets some and gets in, breaks the back out with the command grab. Slide head, get in again, and Shine.
We got to see a little bit there about how Shine made it to Series E. Welcome back, everybody. My name's Yeso, and I'm joined by Shine right now. And Shine, how we doing? Happy draft day, my man.
Oh, how's it going? Yeah, I'm doing quite well. Interesting circumstances, but I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, that background looks really familiar. I don't know where I've seen it before, but it's good to have you. Excited for you and all of your fellow Series E pros here. But let's get right into it. I want to talk to you a little bit more about kind of your journey here to Series E. You've got a very long history with fighting games and the FGC. Can you tell me a little bit more about kind of your history in the FGC and how that brought you to competing in Series E here today?
Oh yeah, in terms of my history, I've actually been playing since I was 15. I played way younger than that, but obviously I didn't know anything about competitive fighting games or even they could be taken competitively. But I've always had a soft spot for Guilty Gear, and I learned about CF from a friend. I remember I used to be the person who just didn't shut up about Guilty Gear. I used to actually just watch matches and stuff like that. But
Sure.
I just thought it was like a Japan only thing or something. And they were the ones who recommended me for Chinatown Parent, and basically I've just been in love with fighting games ever since.
That's awesome. And, now you'll get to be able to compete weekly, get paid to do it, show your stuff here on a pretty big stage. So that's obviously incredibly exciting and a good new step in your FGC journey. I want to talk about one thing that you mentioned in the surveys that we sent out to you guys. You said one thing you mentioned was that you rarely pop off or boast, quote unquote. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but that feels like a little bit of a rare trait in the FGC. It feels like a scene that's really built on swagger, on pop-off moments. Do you feel like that makes you a bit of an anomaly in the scene?
I would feel like yes. I've always I wouldn't say like necessarily bad, but I just
Sure.
feel like it's never for me. It's never right where I feel need to pop off. Of course, like if I have a big win or something like that, I'm excited on Insight, right? Because all my work paid off. But I've just never seemed to find like be able to pop off on the opponent or like stream or anything like that, right? But regardless of anything, I do enjoy it. I do enjoy watching it. I do enjoy watching it, but it's just not for me.
Hey, I hear you. I agree. I don't think it's a bad thing whatsoever. I think it just sets you apart a little bit. You're different from kind of what seems to be a little bit of the norm in the FGC. So I think that's totally a good thing. You play a grappler in Guilty Gear. You have traditionally liked to kind of play in that role, in that mold, in a lot of the fighting games you've competed in. What is it really about grapplers that you love so much?
With grapplers, I've always asked myself this. I always enjoy the challenge of. Usually, grapplers traditionally don't have very good movement, so of course I like the challenge of being able to maneuver around that, especially for other characters that are able to keep grappler out like traditionally as well. I also just like it's something I can't really pinpoint out, and I can't really describe it. There's definitely like a pressure you put on your opponent when you play a grappler that's not like seen in any other character. And I just love that, where I feel like I'm getting a read, like a good read on somebody, and they know it too. I think that's like the most exciting thing about playing a grappler.
Awesome. You love to hear it. Excited to see what you bring to the table with that style here in Series E. It's obviously an incredibly exciting opportunity. I'm looking forward to getting to watch you all this season. I'm going to hand you back off to Tyler. We're going to find out who you're going to represent here in Series E, and then we'll be back with you once more here in a little bit. So let's see what's going on over in Studio Red.
Thanks, Yeso and Shine. Welcome to the draft day room. How we feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good.
Yeah. All right. So I would assume you just saw someone else get drafted to Team Intel just based on your background and the current camera that you're using.
I did. I mean, it's a similar background. It doesn't have to be the same.
Fair enough. All right, you're just watching the stream then. Yeah, exactly. So Intel's gone, so that's great. You probably congratulated Razzo on it being now Intel Razzo. Out of the 5 that are left, we've got Splash, Razer, Nerf, Excedrin, Vizio. You're obviously going to be excited no matter what you get because all those brands are awesome. But is there one that's calling your name a little bit?
I think from what I know, I feel like Nerf. I think Nerf is such a unique brand, or unique like sponsor. For me, I would be like most excited, but for every other brand, it's also like really good as well.
It's true. I mean, you're 100% right. It is true. Nerf is one of the more unique brands that have come on board. Obviously, I think Excedrin's incredibly unique as well. Vizio, they obviously just make great gaming TVs anyway, so they've been in the space for a while now. But you're right. Nerf would be a fantastic one. So I guess without further ado, let's just find out which brand you are going to be representing. And so we're going to spin this wheel, and it goes down just like that. This is semi-random. So at the same time, we got Intel. Is it going to be Razer? Is it actually going to be Nerf? Oh dude.
Oh my God. No.
So oh
my God, that's actually the one I wanted to.
That's sick. I mean, that's awesome to hear. I actually did ask you that it was going to be, if it was going to be Nerf, or I did ask you. I knew it was going to be Nerf. I did ask you who you'd want to be, and I was like, okay. This is always kind of a bad one because like they could say the different one, but I just tried to toss it up. So it was hilarious that you picked Nerf because you actually are now Nerf Shine. So and it's going to be very hard to Nerf Shine, I would imagine. So, but how you feeling? Obviously, you look like you're feeling pretty good, and you now get to represent.
I'm pretty excited. Like I said before, like Nerf is just like super unique in terms of sponsors. You just never. Yeah, exactly. It's just so unique and stuff like that. And obviously, like I also joked about the Nerf Shine as well tag. So just overall, I'm just like really happy.
That's cool. I'm glad. We're gonna make a lot of great content with you and Nerf. So congratulations. That's awesome. You got the one you want. This one's actually pretty sick. It's electronic. So I just got bam. Did I get there? I'm really trying to hit. I think. Oh, that was good.
Yo, I need to hold that actually. I don't have anything right now. I'm just gonna...
No, dude, you'll get hooked up with some Nerf blasters for sure. This stuff is awesome. From since I was a kid to when it was all just like the air pump stuff to where they're at now. Nerf blasters are sick. They're so cool, dude. I'm super stoked to have you on board for Series E, man. So you're the second person to be drafted. Guilty Gear Strive for Series E Nerf. Let's see you take home the victory. We've got another interview with you coming up in a little bit. Obviously, JC's coming over here, so I think with Valle and Jimmy. So congratulations, Shine. Nerf Shine. We'll talk to you soon, buddy. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Shine, you called your shot, my man. You were looking for Nerf. You got exactly what you're looking for. Congratulations on that. How you feeling right now, my man?
I mean, I'm feeling fantastic. Like, I can't even describe it to words, honestly. It's so exciting.
Obviously, we're super excited for you. Jimmy and Alex over here got a couple of questions for you. I'll hand it off to these gentlemen.
Yeah, first and foremost, Shine, congratulations. You're honestly, in my eyes, one of the deadliest Guilty Gear Strive players. I don't think anybody likes to play against you, but for good reason, because you're one of the
I hear it
best.
all the time. I hear it all the time.
You're definitely one of the best. But I just want to just go over a quick thing with you, man. So you spent over like 10 years in playing at back in Chinatown Fair, where some of the legends came out of that arcade, like Justin Wong, Sanford Kelly, Yipes, and then you've progressed your skills with various anime games and various events. With all that grinding, finally that you were here, how did it actually feel, to finally be sponsored by a reputable brand, like Nerf?
It's honestly a weird feeling because I've never entered fighting games because of sponsors. I've always just played because I love them so much, and obviously the community as well. So just even having like the position that I'm in to be sponsored by like a brand like Nerf is just like I can't even describe it words. It's still not like I'm still not processing it at the moment. But yeah, I'm just like super excited.
Great. Awesome to hear, my man. Jimmy?
Yeah, so 10 years is a long time. Can you talk about the growth and the maturity that you have seen in the anime FGC on your side of the States? Talk about how the growth not only took you to where you are now, but talk about in general your community that you play the game with.
I mean, I feel like I was always in a unique position because I came right before Street Fighter 4 came out. So I got a bit of what people would call like I don't like the term, but like the dark ages, I guess you would call them. And then once Street Fighter 4 came out, and obviously BlazBlue came around the same time, which I was in, just seeing like a huge boom of players. And obviously the growth of streaming, right? Streaming was not even a thing. Like when I played, like I had to look up like 240p, Japanese matchup videos and stuff like that, just to even like look at something that's good. But now it's just like with streaming and just like YouTube and everything growing, it's just like so insane how like the skill level from games is just going higher and higher and stuff like that. It's just and especially in the future, it's just really exciting to be able to play fighting games.
Yeah, you talk about skill level, and in your fun fact, you mentioned you play card games, especially Yu-Gi-Oh. Do you have a trump card or some sort of believe in the heart of the cards when you play Guilty Gear? I mean, Potemkin, he's kind of like, Exodia, right? You do that Potemkin Buster and you kind of win. But talk about how you find influence from your card playing games to Guilty Gear.
I think card games are unique, especially I know a few players that also play that competitively as well. Like they take card games very seriously, and there's a concept in card games where it's like you kind of have to not tilt because there's certain positions where you kind of just have to play to your outs, and if you could just lose out of the blue off of a top deck or something like that. It's just the nature of card games. Like sometimes like randomly stuff happens and like you have to be okay with it. So I feel like I'm very, very good at just not being able to tilt in fighting games, and sometimes sometimes losses happen. Like it's perfectly fine. You just have to play for the next game.
Excellent. Thank you for that answer. I love hearing the correlations between different time competitive genres.
It's awesome. Shine, we appreciate your time. Congratulations here. You are now Nerf Shine, and that certainly definitely has a good ring to it there. We appreciate you hanging out with us today, and congratulations. We're going to hand it off back to Tyler here for a final word about Nerf.
Thank you.
There we go, folks. Congratulations, Nerf Shine. I got to be honest, it feels good to sort of see the excitement coming from these players. We're getting great interviews out of these guys as well. So this is exactly what Series E is all about, and I'm glad to see it coming to fruition as quickly as it already is with Guilty Gear. So Exciting times to be a part of Series E, and congratulations to Nerf Shine on what he's been able to achieve thus far. Looking forward to
On Nerf, we are always excited to be looking at new opportunities in the gaming world, and so we are thrilled to be partnering with Esports Arena for their Series E tournament. We cannot wait to see all the excitement and hype moments that are going to be happening this season. Good luck to everyone, and welcome to Team Nerf. As always, it's Nerf from nothing.
I got Charles joining me once again. We just got to talk quite a bit with Shine. I did not anticipate some Yu-Gi-Oh references on the show. Little believe in the heart of the cards there from Jimmy. Love that one coming out. What are your thoughts there from Shine joining Nerf and a pretty exciting player?
In terms of all the sponsors I saw, Nerf, like if I had to pick one, I think Nerf would be my top pick
Okay.
too. So super sick to see Shine get the Nerf pick there. I loved how Shine kind of talked about the last 10 years and how things have kind of evolved since then, right? Content was a big word that we saw or just heard about, and Twitch, YouTube, all that stuff really changing everything, the good net code and all that stuff. So it's and again, I just really love Series E because it gives players a chance to go more full on competition, because even within the FGC, we've seen a lot of players kind of transition more into the content side of things rather than competition, just because there is a good amount of money there, right, in YouTube and Twitch and all that stuff. But now with this netcode and things like Series E, kind of giving opportunities to these players to maybe go more towards the competition route rather than the content route, in terms of just how much effort they're putting into each category. And that's something that I really love to see with this Series E in general, and with Shine being able to come through with the grappler, with the Potemkin, get those hard reads, right? Just get half your health bar just done off of one read. And I love how he explained the reason why he plays Pot, because he does want to get rewarded for those hard reads, right? And when Pot gets in, Pot's feasting, but when Pot's out, then that's so you definitely kind of, I feel like with most games in general, you kind of pick which character will just go more towards your play style, right? If you're more of a player that when I do get in, I do get those hard reads, Pot does sound like a very good player,
Sure,
or a character for the player, right? So yeah, congratulations to Shine.
Yeah, honestly, a lot to kind of pull apart there. I think you make an interesting point in talking about so many in the FGC shifting from competition to content, right? And it's all about, there's that risk with competition. If you aren't performing as well, there's just less money there. And there's also just, not quite as much, you don't see these crazy huge prize pools in FGC that you maybe see in other esports, where you're seeing millions of dollars in prizing for these big tournaments. In FGC isn't quite in the same space, but it's awesome, I agree, to give these players the opportunity that if they do have that competitive drive and they want to take a run at it, there's less risk, right? They don't necessarily have to worry about the money. They're getting that monthly paycheck, and then they can focus on, hey, even if I don't perform well, I can lab it out, I can take the time, I can learn from this experience and continue to invest in that competitive side. So I think that is incredibly important, and it's super important as well, coming to these scenes that haven't had that support. That I think Guilty Gear is an incredible game. The scene is awesome, obviously beloved by so many people, and giving that scene an opportunity like this is incredibly important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, if you've been a fan of the FGC or just been in the FGC for a long time, this is something that you've wanted for a while, right?
Yeah.
There's only one winner of a tournament. There's only 8 spots in top 8, right?
Yep.
And there's so many fantastic players. And I for me, in my heart, I just want the FGC to kind of get to a point where you don't necessarily have to win first, or you don't always have to get top 8, right? To the point where there's enough resources where it'll trickle down to, more people can compete at FGC games, or just in the FGC full time, and it's not just a fraction of a percent of the community or of the competitive community. So that's something I'm really excited to see. And again, Series E being that bridge and really expanding on that is really exciting for me to see.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to getting to continue to follow that. We've got 2 in the book. Razzo joining Intel, and Shine calling his shot. He was looking for Nerf, got Nerf. That worked out really well. Incredibly excited for both of those players, but we still got 4 more here today, folks. 6 Series E Guilty Gear pros getting signed today. They'll be joining a brand that they'll represent in Series E, and we've got another one on deck. So Charles and I are going to take a little break. Let's head back over to Tyler and see what's going on.
We're going to do it in 3, 2, 1.
Two players down, 4 more to go. It seems as if we got the we got Razzo and Shine out of the way using the cell phone cameras. They are on their way to CEO in Orlando, Florida. So congratulations, fellas, on getting drafted. And now next step, obviously, is to play Series E next week and obviously crush the competition at CEO as well. We've got a few folks from Esports Arena going to be out there too. And we've got a couple locations in Florida as well. You saw them on that little video. We, again, are partnered with Walmart. We open up inside Walmart stores all throughout the country. You can go to walmart.com/esports arena and support any one of these awesome brands that you see behind me. These are the brands that help make Series E possible. And obviously, with your guys' support, if you need some headache medicine, if you need to stay hydrated, you want to buy that Nerf blaster for yourself or for your friends or your kids, whatever have you, go to walmart.com/esports arena. We get awesome credit for that. And obviously it shows that we're a great partner to be had with Walmart. But regardless, 2 down. We've got our 3rd player ready to announce for Series E. This person obviously qualified. They went through the qualifying rounds, etc. If you're asking yourself, man, how can I be one of these players as well? We do open it back up for this first season. Once the first season is done, then some the lower leaderboards, folks on the lower of the leaderboard get relegated out, and then new players can come in. So we host new qualifiers then. So keep, I guess, following us and level up on all of our Twitter handles, websites, etc. You know where it is. You can find it. You guys are pros at this anyway, so it doesn't necessarily matter. But our 3rd player to announce today is, oh shoot, I lost it. Solstice, right? Yes, that's the one. Solstice. And like I said, I'm not going to be the one to tell you all about Solstice. I'm going to have him tell you all about himself with JC because they've got an interview with him, and then come back to me and we'll see which brand Solstice is going to be paired up with. Go ahead, JC. Take it away.
More resources to really get out of this. Also, just a little more chill. Oh, justified beat everything with that first. You gotta bring it back, I guess. This is, people who are watching, those potential sponsors, are gonna see like, can you beat your demon? Razzo in the corner. Razzo really lost first. Also, in here, you catch out huge damage. There's nice escape from Razzo. Solstice drops the dual blades. Huge damage. Solstice. Cover the gaps. Cover the pressure. Even with the anti-airs not giving English Secrecy a chance to get in. VRC doesn't work out. Oh no, to the 40.
See the burst of the bomb. If they just, I see the burst. Also, they want to use now. Solstice, hold on now. 2K, put him with the backhand and a super. But Solstice trying to put a stop to that. Already getting a good round start. Close slash, mix up, going to be a throw. Get got. Then you better stay sucker free on a Sunday. Solstice came to play.
An awesome look there at how our next player made it to Series E. I am now joined by Solstice. Solstice, happy draft day. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you. Good to be here.
I'm excited to have you. One thing I do have to get away at the front, Inheritance Cycle is the best fantasy series out there. I know you're a big fan. It's my favorite book series as well. So I just saw that little tidbit in the player survey. I was like, all right. You know, we're simpatico here. I like Solstice. Welcome to the show. I want to talk a little bit before we find out who you're going to represent in Series E. You have quite a history in Guilty Gear prior to the release of Strive, considering you got your start in the FGC with the previous iteration of the series. With the way we've seen Strive garnering a ton of attention since its release, do you feel like this franchise has the potential to stand with FGC titans like Tekken, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, etc.?
Yeah, I really think that if ArcSys continues to like put all this effort into making Guilty Gear their star franchise, they've marketed it so heavily. There's a lot of channels I'd watch on like YouTube that are doing Guilty Gear stuff now. That's so insane for me. Because playing Rev 2, the community was really tight knit, but it was never super huge.
Mm-hmm.
I knew just about everyone I ended up playing by the time Strive came out, and now the community is so big. I've gotten to know so many more people. I really think that this game has so much potential, and the series can go so far.
It definitely seems to have, shown that here early on, and I'm incredibly excited to see how that continues. There's obviously, I agree, a ton of potential there. I mentioned that you started your FGC journey a couple of years ago with the previous Guilty Gear title. With just about 2 years of competing now under your belt, how do you feel like you've grown as a competitor over that time?
The biggest thing by far that I've grown with is just my mentality with competition. It helps coming from I played League casually, and that was just about it before I got into fighting games. And so if anyone's ever played League, you know that game is not known for having the best mindset on its players. But coming to this, it's helped so much with a learning mindset, being willing to improve.
Awesome. That learning is certainly going to help you as, you start this Series E journey, and there's tons that you'll be able to learn and grow with this experience. As you look ahead to Series E and the opportunities ahead of you, what kind of goals do you have to continue that growth and kind of make the most of what is in front of you?
At the end of the day, I want to keep competing. I want to keep getting better. I know I want to get back into streaming. I started over the summer. I've had to stop recently. We've been renovating the house, but I really just want to keep pushing myself to go further in the game, in the community. I just want to be, the end goal is to be the best, but however long that takes, I'm going to keep working at it.
That's awesome. That drive is incredibly important, and especially when we know you're going to have a bunch of very talented compatriots here in Series E, and as well just in the Guilty Gear scene as a whole. So still a lot of work to do, but having that dedication and that continued drive is incredibly important to getting to those goals. So I'm excited to see you continue that here with Series E. I'm going to hand you over to Tyler. He's hanging out in Studio Red right now. We're going to find out who you're going to represent in Series E this season, and then we'll be back in here with you in a few.
All right.
Congratulations, Solstice. Welcome to the draft room. You got to be pretty excited, I would imagine.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Well, hopefully this extra $750 a month will go towards this house renovation, maybe get that job done a little bit quicker so that you could start the streaming career back up. I was listening to the interview. We're excited to have you on board, and congratulations for qualifying. You've probably been watching. I believe we've had 2 brands go away. Yeah, 2 brands gone off the table with Intel and Nerf are now gone, but obviously Vizio, Excedrin, Razer, or Splash are on the table right now. All brands, phenomenal brands. And you've probably seen how this works, but essentially we've got the Price is Right wheel, it's spun down, and it's like, but everyone's a winner, so it doesn't matter. So let's find out who Solstice will be winning and which brand he'll be representing for Series E. So let's go ahead and roll it. And see, I'm always too fast on the down. That's my biggest problem. We got four left. Intel's already off. Razor's there. Nerf's off. Oh, Team Excedrin, dude. Congratulations, man. That is awesome. So Excedrin, obviously a phenomenal brand in this, pharmaceutical industry to help out, with the headache problems that you have, because you're going to be causing so many different headaches for the competition now that you're called Excedrin Solstice. So how's it feel? I mean, Excedrin being such an iconic brand in the industry, and you get to represent them, and this is one of their first steps into sponsoring esports. So you are the first ever Excedrin player for Guilty Gear Strive. Does it feel pretty good?
It does. I'm really excited. And I'll do my best to live up to the name.
Yeah, absolutely you will, because you'll be providing, well, no, you won't be providing headaches, but you're going to be preventing yourself from headaches, because that's one thing that Excedrin actually is really big about, is preventing headaches, especially for gamers sitting in the same chair for long periods of time, looking at a screen for such a long period of time as well. There's a lot of steps you can take to prevent yourself from getting a headache, and obviously become a better player, because if you do have a headache, it is tough to perform under the best circumstances. So go visit walmart.com/esports arena and all the preventative measures to do that. And of course, Excedrin, you go to their website as well. They have all that stuff there too. But of course, if the headache does come around, take some Excedrin because they're the best in the industry. All right, Solstice, congratulations. We've got JC, Alex, and Jimmy. They're going to ask you a few more questions now that you're called Excedrin Solstice. Congratulations. JC, Alex.
All right, Solstice, welcome back here into Studio Blue. You are now Excedrin Solstice. Excited, congratulations. How you feeling right now? Got to be pretty exciting, huh?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Sponsorship out of the way. You've qualified. Now the grind begins. Definitely looking forward to seeing you kick off Series E here very soon. Jimmy, I want to come to you first. Any questions here for Solstice?
Yeah, so now that you're sponsored by Excedrin, I want you to come up with your best puns. So when you beat somebody, I want to hear all those puns. So I'll put you on a spot right now. Come up with something right now and how to build in your new sponsor, Excedrin.
I'm not good on the spot. I'm sorry. I'll work on my material, don't worry.
I think we just got to have Solstice at LAN with a bunch of Excedrin bottles, because he's gonna be out there giving all his opponents headaches, and then you just pop over with a little bottle and be like, here, it's all right. When I'm done with you, I got you covered.
Go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, so, I mean, to add on to the jokes, Ramlethal, of course, it makes sense of why it would be an Excedrin partnership, okay? Because that character got... well, I mean, I don't want to over-exaggerate, but it's a pretty strong character in Guilty Gear Strive. That's a well-known fact. But, I mean, you can't be great without a great player driving the character. So what I want to ask you is, you're coming off of, winning some of the most prestigious North American Guilty Gear Strive tournaments, from NLBC, Can Opener. You just won this week of Wednesday Night Fights, what is your expectation going into Series Z, and how are you going to train for it?
I'm really happy to be able to get to play all these exceptional players more often, because I know sometimes running into brackets, you don't always get to play the people you want to. I want to keep running into Shine Raza since they've already been on. I love playing sets with both of them. It's a great time. Gives me all the reason in the world to sit down every day and keep improving.
Awesome to hear. Yeah, I really love that you said you're gunning for the top, because that's what we're here to do, playing games, but it's not casuals anymore. We're here to win some matches. We're here to rush people down. So congratulations, for sure.
Yeah, one more quick question is, for those who don't know who you are, talk about when you started playing fighting games and what really got you into it.
I got into fighting games at a friend's birthday party. He invited me over, and he pulled out Guilty Gear over at his house. I had never touched a fighting game in my life, and I think I played Kai for that day. I figured out how to do Stun Dipper, and we played in a mock bracket. And from there, I went home, I bought the game. I bought an arcade stick a week later, and it's all been uphill from there. I love the genre, I've never looked back. It's a great time.
Awesome. That's a great story, man.
Jimmy, you got a special appreciation for those classic arcade sticks going back.
Yeah, I mean, I built my own when we started from the arcade days, just trying to replicate playing in the arcade at home. Got some wood, got a drill, some screws, bought some parts online, and put together a stick. So yeah, I can definitely appreciate, having that passion of being, fighting games are awesome. I'm gonna go build my own stick and play like in arcades. So yeah.
That's awesome. Love to see it. Obviously, a ton of history in the FGC over all these years, and it's continuing to be made by players like Solstice and all these other Series E pros. So we're definitely excited about that. We're going to hand it back over to Tyler here for a final word about Excedrin. Congratulations, Solstice. A pleasure to be joined by you, and we're looking forward to seeing you compete more.
All right, thank you.
Another stellar interview with a stellar player. Congratulations, Excedrin Solstice. It is game over for headaches, thanks to Excedrin. For all the preventative measures that you can do to stop yourself from getting a headache while playing video games, go visit walmart.com/esportsarena, as well as Excedrin's website for all those preventative measures. And guys, to be honest, Excedrin getting involved with esports is huge for the industry. Another non-endemic brand jumping in with Series E to help build a foundation for esports and to bring more dollars to the scene, which is really, really cool. So thank you so much, Excedrin. And if you guys are in need, you're running low on that headache medicine or the pain relief medicine, obviously Excedrin, #1 in the industry. Go to walmart.com/esportsarena, click on the Excedrin logo, and you can purchase that stuff and get it in your door literally in the next couple of minutes. Or not a couple of minutes, couple of days. Get this stuff. At any rate, Team Excedrin, very happy to have you on board. They've got a thank you note for you guys as well. So congratulations, Solstice, Excedrin Solstice. Go ahead, roll it.
Hi, I'm Jenny Echeverry, Senior Shopper Engagement Manager for Excedrin. And this is Michael Sullivan. He's our sales manager for Excedrin. Excedrin has been the headache expert for more than 50 years. And we know how head pain can adversely affect your gaming. At Excedrin, we're on a mission. We want to help gamers keep their heads out of pain and in the game.
That's why we're super excited to be a sponsor of Esports Arena Series E. Good luck, keep your head in the game, and welcome to the Excedrin team.
Back here with Charles once again, 3 players in the books and 3 more to go. And we got our first Ram player there with Solstice. I find it interesting, the more I learn about different fighting games, you can learn a lot about a person just based on their choice of character in any given game. Does Ram tell you something about Solstice?
When I first saw Ram, obviously, especially right when the game launched, I think Ram was one of the more popular top tiers for sure. The fact that Solstice is still playing Ram, sticking with it, even after there was some slight changes to other characters in Ram as well. Just more of a safe character. That's what Ram feels like to me. Very safe, and then you just have crazy corner stuff with the when you shoot the swords in the corner, you get really easy wall breaks and all that stuff. So just very safe pick in my opinion, right? And even with a friend of mine, Lord Knight, says Guilty Gear is a game about just hating the other person's character, which is pretty funny because all the other characters are so broken in their own way, and they're just really unique. So Lord Knight said that most of the community is like that, and even when you go through Twitter or just watch other stuff, you definitely see that. And I feel like Ram is definitely a character where it's well, I'm not going to deal with your character's BS. I'm chilling over here, I got the range, and I'm going to do my thing.
I find it interesting that you say that about Guilty Gear. It's something I always hear about Dota. It's all the characters are busted. They're just busted in their own unique ways. Right. And that, I think, makes things interesting because it feels like when you come into a game, you can certainly find those kind of hard counter matchups, but it just feels like when you have a game where every character has that opportunity to succeed, it's just so much about, can these players be able to hammer out, this is how I need to play, this is how I can help myself succeed with this character. And it's always interesting to see different players playing with that in these different titles, and it's really exciting for Guilty Gear. I love everything that I continue to see, whether it's watching tournaments or just gameplay on YouTube or whatever, is really fun. And the more I talk to these players, the more I'm excited. It's okay, is it Wednesday yet? Can we start the bracket already? Yeah. We just want to play today? Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I love Solstice kind of talking about how got into the game, right?
Yeah.
Just going over to a friend's house, and I feel like that's something that makes the FGC in general a lot more special in my heart. Everything was offline back in the day,
Yep.
right? So it's like the connections you made through, going to tournaments, whatever phase of your life you're in, those connections are, the best part about the FGC and just competing in the FGC. And whether you make it or not as a player, I've seen so many other people either like go into other, routes within esports, or, even if you kind of take a back seat and go back to, not competing and stuff like that.
Sure.
I feel like you grow so much as just a human or a person, you know what I mean, in your time within the competition of FGC. So to me, that was really cool. And even just like thinking back on some of the older Guilty Gear stuff, there was a lot of, like, there's some messed up stuff in Strive and there's some cheap stuff in Strive, but man, some of the older Guilty Gear games were something.
They're getting better. They're getting better on the balance.
Yes.
We're getting there.
Right.
It's all a journey, ladies and gentlemen. So love that. And we do all have that story of that first, that friend's house we went over and we played Smash or Guilty Gear or Mortal Kombat or whatever it is. I think that definitely does set the FGC apart. So love getting all of that insight from Solstice there. And we've still got a bunch of other players to talk to, but 3 in the books there. So that's incredibly exciting. We're going to go to a short video, but when we come back, we're going to keep it rolling with the second half of Series E Guilty Gear Draft Day.
We're going to do it in 3, 2, 1.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. Series E Draft Day. Of course, we got to show that little video of Esports Arena's inside Walmart stores all throughout the country. That's right. Esports Arena is in Walmarts all throughout the country. You just saw all the cities listed. We're in 18 different locations right now and growing. So ideally, having that esports competitive experience right at your front door where you get to play with your buddies and the competitors and hopefully win some money in the process. But it doesn't necessarily matter about Walmart because right now we are going back into Series E Draft Day. We have drafted 3 players and we've got our 4th player coming up. This 4th player is called, I believe it's Idiosyncrasy. Did I say that right? Idiosyncrasy? Probably. Sounds about right. Reminds me of a, like that, what's that police song? Synchronicity and Synchronicity 2. But Idiosyncrasy, I believe, is on the other side of this video with JC for a video, and we'll be drafting him to one of the 3 remaining brands right after this awesome video and interview. So go ahead, take it away.
Luggage almost close to popping. To the compass now. Oh, the farm page. Oh, the counter hits. That'll do it. Blood gauge. Take it. Punishes the slide ahead. Oh. Level 6H. G. Red RC. Going for the dust. One touch and that'll do it. Oh, you gonna do it now? Do it now, Gohan. Do it now. Do it now, Gohan. Oh, the 2S. This time the dash up throw. Low slash again. Bloody spin, 6H. Midnight stack for Cal Black. Red RC finds a fish with a 6H. Says Toki. Takes a first round. Use that farm. Round start with a 6. Speed's already in. Stomp the roach with the 6K. And keep it in. Oh, goes for the throw right there. Tries to get a midnight stack. Oh, burst. Oh, we eating Gucci style out here. Golden plates.
Awesome little highlight reel there of our next guest. And I just want to confirm, is it idiosyncrasy? Like that hard I? Or is it idiosyncrasy? I want to make sure I get it right.
I prefer idiosyncrasy personally.
Idiosyncrasy? Okay, cool.
Idiosyncrasy.
Hey, we'll stick with it. Tyler, good job. You got it right. Idiosyncrasy. Hey, welcome to the show, my friend. Happy draft day. Also, congratulations. I saw you recently graduated from college, so congratulations on that, my man.
Thank you for that.
Hey, appreciate you joining us here today. Obviously, a very exciting day. But let's get into it. You have a history of competing in Mortal Kombat 11. Now you're jumping into Series E Guilty Gear. What was it about Guilty Gear Strive that made you swap away from such a historic franchise, and especially one that you were seeing some promising success in?
So for MK, the story kind of began because my dad introduced me to it. It was one of my first fighting games, right?
Okay.
Again, going over earlier with Razzo, how he got introduced at a young age to it, I was the same. And when I was competing in MK11, I saw it more so as paying respect to, my roots. And during that time, I was also obviously focusing on college and my studies and stuff, so I couldn't put all my time in. But then I saw the trailer for Guilty Gear Strive, and I'm like, this game comes out right around the time I'm out of college. I'm going to be unchained, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
So when I saw that, I was like, I have to get in on this. It looked fresh. It looked new. I had played Xrd, but only casually. I'm not a sweat like Shine in Xrd by any extent. But for the most part, I saw it as a fresh start and a way to claim my identity going forward.
A perfect storm and the ability to kind of set your own legacy there. So that's awesome. And I mean, I agree with you. I think there are a lot of reasons to want to get into Guilty Gear. So definitely love to see that. You've been crushing it at your locals lately over the last few months. Now you're taking this next step here with Series E. Are you surprised at all with your level of play recently? Are these kinds of results just what you've come to expect from yourself, and should we expect the same?
So to be honest, with my locals, I kind of use them as a training grounds for everybody to level up. Yeah, sure, for the most part I'll win, but I make sure that whether it's after the match or after the tournament set, that I run sets with everybody who I ran in with the bracket just to give them general improvements, because at the end of the day, for me, it's about improving the scene, because by doing that, I'm going to become a better player, right? In terms of expecting the same results, in terms for Series E, I was kind of disappointed in myself. I didn't place top 3, obviously, but I took it on the chin and said, this is just the best place to improve, because I'm going to be in a crucible with all these other strong players.
Honestly, yeah, the talent level looks incredibly high for the Series E pros, and I think that's going to benefit you. Love to see that you have that focus on at your locals, continuing to build up the scene, because I think that is the result you're going to get out of it. When you talk about the improvement you're going to get yourself, if you're able to help everybody else in that scene grow and improve, it's going to make your matches better. You're going to have tighter competition, and that's just going to level everybody up. So I love to hear that. Important to have that focus on that local scene, especially because FGC, it's so grassroots, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Super grassroots. Like,
I mean, hey, I think it's a very cool, unique trait about the FGC more than any other esports scene. It is so based on those locals, on those local scenes. So that's a very cool, unique trait about it. We sent all of the players a little survey to fill out prior to the season, and one of the questions we asked you guys was about your play style. And I found your answer really interesting. You said that you play in a, quote, calculated and deliberate way where you try to place yourself in an advantageous position whenever possible. How do you feel like that play style matches up against that tight competition you're going to have with the other Series E pros?
So against these players, obviously, like that mindset and game plan goes even harder, because I can give these people situations where they're going to be at heavy advantage, or like situations where I can let them take control. Because if Razzo, Shine, Solstice, or any of these players get even a hint of weakness, they're going in for the kill, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So especially with my character Nagaruyuki, with the blood gauge, I want to make sure that if I'm not always keeping my turn, I'm making sure that I'm in a situation where that I can react to your option accordingly, right? And just ensuring that even if I get hit or the worst situation, I can end up in a situation where I have the means to defend myself.
I'm very excited to watch you and Razzo go at it because I'm always just going to be wondering, all right, whose turn is it now? Razzo says, I don't let Idiosyncrasy have his turn. Idiosyncrasy is going to be over there like saying, oh wait, my turn's coming. It's on its way. So I think that's awesome. I'm excited about all of these matchups, especially considering you guys have been able to get to know each other all through these qualifiers. So I think that's fun. I want to know, you talk about, obviously you want to keep winning those locals, but you're focused on, more building up the scene in that terms. But when you look at Series E, what does a successful first season of Series E look like for you?
So for me, a successful season of Series E entails that I've made it in the sense that I become strong enough to make sure that if I'm not going to be a top player, if I'm not going to be number one, obviously that's what we're all gunning for, I'm going to be competitive enough to this be like, if you're watching a match between like me and Razzo, right? Let's say we're like the top two, you don't know who's going to win, right? It can go either way. And just by applying that mindset of I'm going to be in this crucible of conflict with everyone, I'm inevitably going to get stronger, right? It's just with this season, I'm obviously playing to win, but my main goal is to improve because that's going to carry me miles beyond this.
It just seems like we are signing 6 bracket demons to Series E with all of y'all. I think it's going to be incredibly fun. I'm looking forward to how things develop, and I'm super excited about all of that. Appreciate the insight, Idiosyncrasy. I'm going to hand you back over to Tyler. We're going to find out who you're going to represent this season in Series E, and then I'll be back to talk to you a little bit more in a bit.
Got it.
Thank you, Yeso and Idiosyncrasy, spoken like a true college grad. How we doing, my man? Are you excited?
I am more than excited. It doesn't look like I'm showing it, but trust me, beneath this stoic gaze.
That's the stoic gaze. See, I tell you got to get some more college grads. So you thought college was tough. Okay, Series E is where the real work begins. All right, my man. So this one's gonna be a lot of fun, but it's a lot of work, and it sounds like you're ready for the grind. I loved your responses of just sort of like, you just want to see the whole sort of scene elevate as opposed to just like you dominating. Obviously, you do want to win, but like the scene elevating overall is more successful for everyone, it sounds like.
Most definitely.
Yep, definitely. The nod of approval. All right, buddy. I appreciate it. You've probably been watching. You see how this goes. We've got the wheels on both sides. They spin. 3 brands have been taken off the table. We've got the best water company in the world with Nestle Splash. We've got the best peripheral company in the world with Razer. And we've got the best television company in the world with Vizio. Any one of those brands could be yours. Let's find out right now which one it's going to be. So go ahead, guys, and let's get it rolling. This one will slow it down. And then it speeds up. There we go. So I like why you have them all still on here, but let's find out which one it's going to be. Okay, Razer, Nerf's gone, Excedrin's gone. It's most likely, yep, it is indeed Splash, my man. You are going to be feeling hydrated, okay? Because Nestle Splash, this stuff is dynamite, all right? I drank one on the stream yesterday, and I'll be honest, dude, it was delicious. Now, I got nothing else to say except for the fact that Nestle Splash, you're going to be hydrated. So you must be feeling pretty good. And we're going to send you some stuff out there as well. But yesterday I tried to do a bottle flip, and it went very successful.
Oh,
so
there's no way you're going to try it on stream.
I'm going to try it. Oh, heck yeah, dude. Come on now. Oh. That was actually pretty close. That was pretty close. Last one. Here we go. Nope.
I didn't see it.
I didn't see it. Thanks, Idiosyncrasy. I appreciate it. How you feeling now that you are now that you are Splash? Idiosyncrasy must be feeling pretty good.
Me more motivation in the sense that like after I run my tournament sets at, let's say, CEO or at my local, I'm gonna make sure I'm always carrying that pack of water because these games are tough. It's strenuous. I got to make sure all my people out here we're staying hydrated, irregardless of the results.
I love that. So every time you basically take the match from somebody, all you gotta do is pull out the back pocket.
You need a water break?
There you go. Oh, I'm looking forward to this next interview with Alex and Jimmy and Yeso. Congratulations again, Idiosyncrasy, Splash Idiosyncrasy. Good luck, man. We'll see you next week in competition.
Got it.
All right, we are back. Splash Idiosyncrasy there, as Tyler said, and already got a little bit of the trash talk on deck, ready to be carrying the Splash around with him at the bracket. Congratulations, my friend. How you feeling right now?
I'm feeling great. It was really feeling like, all the work and effort that I put into Strive is finally coming to fruition in that sense.
That's awesome to hear. Vi, I'll come to you first. Anything you want to ask Idiosyncrasy here?
Yeah, congratulations, Splash, Idiosyncrasy. I mean, obviously, I ain't gonna lie, I had a little trouble in the beginning trying to figure out how to say your name. Like from a TO standpoint, right? We were reading all like, hey, who's Mr. Skipper 1234? And it's kind of funny, right? But then like people correct you, and we figure it out. So, but all good. One thing I want to ask: you're a person of many talents. You go into a sword school. Practicing at a Bushido gym, MMA, and you have a bachelor's in political science. So you're a person of many talents. How has gaming come into that world, that life? You're bettering yourself as a person, but like, how has gaming affected this?
So gaming has always been there from the start. As when I was talking about earlier about my dad introducing me to Mortal Kombat. The first game, however, that I was ever introduced, period, was also by him. It was Soul Calibur 2. And he used to destroy me in that game every time. I would be so angry. But eventually, all that anger turned into power. I started winning, and he started begging, please, let's not play another one, right? And eventually, as I grew up, I also wanted to make sure that I did everything I had an interest in. Playing fighting games gave me an uncanny interest in mixed martial arts. And by extension, I was also interested in weapon combat, and just it's all these different avenues of interest and all these shared ports that they look like they're disjointed, but they're all connected, right? And when I took the leap forward and said, you know what, I want to try competitive gaming, when I first started with Mortal Kombat 11, I was like, this is going to help broaden interpretation of idiosyncrasy, right?
No, that's
Because
awesome
I like
to hear.
to.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you off, sir.
No, go ahead.
I like
go
to
ahead.
think of like my name as like a RPG stat sheet. Like when you pull up the stats on a character, you see the traits, you see the passives. You got MMA, practitioner here, so creating that diverse culture and moving forward with that is really why I'm here today.
Great story, man.
Yeah.
It makes sense that you play Nagaryuki, Bushido, and
I get that
just
a
carrying
lot.
out that. You identify with the character very well, so that's an awesome reply. Thank you.
Yeah, and as someone who also does a lot of things and has many skills, I also have my own meters of different skill sets and can really appreciate that. But with that comes a lot of times when you come into limits, right? You hit a peak. Talk about your thought process and how you get past those limits to go to the next level and level up each of those categories.
Especially when it comes to gaming, there's definitely a limit that everyone hits at some point in their career, right? For me, when I was playing MK11 and I went to my first major tournament, which was CO 2019, I came out of pools. I did a very uncharacteristic pop-off because I was like, yo, I made it. Right after that, I go and play against Dragon, who was like the second best player at MK11 at the time, on stream. I get washed.
That's how it always happens.
I feel the wall, right? The wall that is the pro player and the online warrior net player, right? that was me at the time. So when I was faced with that wall, most people, they would just be like, all right, I accomplished my goal. I can retire or I can go to another hobby. But when I met that wall, it only motivated me to make sure that I can reach the level where I could stand on par with these kind of monster players, right? And not only in gaming, it's also in MMA, like when you're practicing your combinations, your submission holds, or you're doing just your conditioning exercises, you're always going to hit a limit. It's just how you use that limit to motivate you moving forward.
That's awesome. And obviously now, working in Guilty Gear, you're in Series E, now you can be that wall to other players, and
Exactly.
it seems like you can use that, they can use that to motivate themselves. So you can be that wall now, and it's obviously a fun story to watch. And I think I love the way that you imagine that when you talk about all your different talents and that RPG stat sheet, that that melee combat stat looking pretty high. So. Awesome, man. Hey, we appreciate your time, Idiosyncrasy. Excited to see you compete this season. Congratulations on joining Series E, now joining the Splash squad. We're looking forward to all that we can see from you this season. So thanks so much for joining us, man. Splash.
Thank you guys for having me.
Always a pleasure. Let's go back over to Tyler.
Splash. I like that, Jimmy. Splash. That was a good one. I like that. Congratulations again, Idiosyncrasy, Splash Idiosyncrasy. Obviously, guys, stay hydrated. Splash has been a partner of ours for a while now. They're awesome people. Thank you, Trevor Drinkwater. That's right. His last name is Drinkwater, and he represents a lot of water companies, Splash being the most important, of course. Again, can't stress this enough. Support Esports Arena. Go to walmart.com/esports arena. Take a look at all of our products that we have over there that are on the website that you can literally purchase, and then they deliver to your door. It's Walmart. They're everywhere. So, but congratulations again to Idiosyncrasy. We've got a quick break coming up with, again, the fact that we're partnered with Walmart. Oh, no, we don't have that yet. We're going straight to JC and... Well, we do okay, so Walmart video. We have the Walmart video coming up for you guys right now. Obviously, it's live. You know what it is. But, man, these interviews are phenomenal. I love watching them. All these players, super stoked to have them on board with the Esports Arena Series E as well as Level Up, too. So we'll be right back right after this one.
We're going to do it in 3, 2, 1.
I brought Charles back in the room once again so I can continue to pick his brain on all of these different players. Great little insight and interview there with Idiosyncrasy. Was there something really that specifically stood out to you that he was talking about? He's talking about his success at locals and trying to build up the community, how he approaches all these different talents. What kind of jumped out to you?
Well, first, the throwback to Soul Calibur 2, that was sick.
Yes.
So shout outs to that. But honestly, the way he explained his story of competition really stood out to me. I feel like that's a very common scenario where a lot of players, that's the wall, right? A lot of players, they'll come into different FGCs, and getting out of pools is, especially if it's a big tournament like EVO or something like that, or CEO or any of the bigger tournaments, getting out of pools is a good feeling for most players. It's usually the first goal a lot of competitors will give themselves. But as you know, with many things in life, when you start getting to like the higher end of things, that's when you have to start dumping like a lot more time and dedication towards something to like keep on improving and going up. And I feel like that's the very first wall a lot of players hit. They'll get out of pools, then they'll get hit with the reality check. And yeah, that when you fight a top 10 or like top 50 player in the world, that's definitely like it's a really hard reality check too. Like you usually get like blown back. Like you really just kind of see how bad you are at the game, so to speak, right? Comparatively, like you're not really that bad, but comparatively to the top. And kind of just hearing his experience on how he got over that wall, and that's how I can tell he's a true competitor at heart, right? Like when you hit that wall, a lot of players, like most players, will be like, well, at least I got out of pools, right? But like the players that eventually end up at the top after many years of grinding, they hit that wall and they just keep running at it. And no matter how much like time and dedication it takes, they'll do whatever it takes to like become stronger essentially.
It really feels like hitting that wall, the best players recognize that as an incredible learning opportunity. You can really, because the best players really have to be able to recognize where you're deficient and understand how to learn. And that wall is, obviously a crash course in understanding where are your faults, where are your weaknesses, and the best players will look at that and understand, okay, I was punished in this way. This is something that I can work on. Hey, maybe at the local, I'm able to get away with these kinds of strategies and this way of playing, but when I go against the best, I can't just lean on that, single strategy. I need to learn and evolve from that point. So it's incredible to be able to take that kind of experience and understand, okay, here's where I can go from here. Here's what I can understand from that experience. I do want to talk a little bit more about something that Idiosyncrasy went into. I was talking about, how well he was performing at locals, and he talked about how obviously he wants to go out and win, and he loves doing that. But very specifically, he takes those opportunities to continue to build and grow that local scene. He's going to come back, and whoever he played against in bracket, if they want a rematch, if he wants to work with them, give them some pointers, he's going to take that time and continue to grow that local scene, because it really just kind of, a rising tide raises all ships. I thought that was an incredible way to approach going to his local events.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean, more of the FGC community, or just like the gaming community nowadays, is more online. But back in the day, or I mean, not even that long ago, most FGC communities, a lot of it's offline and local, and that comes with a lot of regional pride.
Sure.
That's something that to this day I still think the FGC still has a lot of, is a lot of regional pride. And you obviously, when you compete at your locals, you want to win, but you also want to rise everyone else up, because you want good practice, right? You want your scene to be strong so you guys can elevate each other, and it's just hype to be like, yeah, I'm from the strongest region, right? Like that, like that regional pride is always something that I always thought was really sick about the FGC.
Yeah, definitely. It's awesome. We get to kind of continue to highlight all these different unique traits about the FGC, and it's thanks to a lot of these players, I think, embody a lot of those interesting elements of the FGC. So super excited about that, and we get to continue talking more about this. We've got 4 players now signed, confirmed, drafted to these teams, and just 2 more to go. I'm going to hand it right back over to Tyler as we get ready for player number 5.
Thank you, JC and Charles. Appreciate the insights as always. They're making Esports Arena look way smarter than I can when it comes to Guilty Gear Strive. But I'll tell you what, I'm loving this day. This day's awesome. It's like opening up Christmas morning a new video game present that you never got to play before, and now you get to play it. Because that's how I feel. Is that like we've got Apex Legends. We've been doing Apex Legends for a year now, and that's great. Apex has been a ton of fun. Halo just came out, so I've been playing that a lot too. But Guilty Gear, I am very much looking forward to getting really involved with this scene. And honestly, every single one of the players that's here with Series E has been a fantastic interview. Very much looking forward to getting to know all of these guys, as well as just seeing how well they can compete against one another. It seems like they have a lot of respect for each other, but at the same time, want to win. So it's very cool. We've got 2 more left. We've just done 4 of our players. The 2 brands that are remaining, Vizio and Razer, it's a toss-up to, like, I mean, I wouldn't care. I'd want either one of these brands because they're both incredibly sick. So thanks again for everyone else that's come on board. Thanks again, Jimmy, Alex, JC, Charles, and well as all of you guys out there in the production room. This has been a fun show, and it's going to keep going. We've got 2 more to go. The next player that I would like to introduce is DON. I'm imagining that's Dawn, D.O.N. We're going to find out how to pronounce D.O.N's name. I'm assuming it's just Dawn, but it could be his initials. We'll find out. But let's find out how he actually qualified to get into Series E. And then Yeso's got an awesome interview, I'm sure, coming up next right after this. So go ahead and take it away.
BRC to slow things down. And Ari with a good round start gets the counter hit and the push to the corner with the stroke retreat. 6H and a couple of love. We're staying toxic out here. And to get the counter hit, Colin trying to press a button. Red RC. Don going in for this aggression. And this is great. You send to the wall and back to neutral. Perfectly okay. Yeah, exactly. Max distance on the chemical love. Another counter hit. Has to stay solid. Can't shine. Do anything in this situation.
Oh, no, he can't. Wall break. Big damage and a hard knockdown, too.
What are you gonna do? PRC to slow down, but hold the throw. There you go. You gotta get this character down on the ground. I feel like Shine's got a good beat on all the players that they fought thus far. Don Dada, though, a little bit more aggressive with it. Gets the knockdown with the drill. R slash. There we go. Applying that pressure. Red RC pickup after the meaty. And fish. Not enough. Not enough. My bad. Go build that bar, though.
All right, folks, Yeso back once again. Hope you're not getting tired of me because you're still going to see a lot more of me through the rest of the show, but I'm joined by Don or D-O-N. You don't seem to really have a preference, I don't think, Don? We'll get his mic up here one sec.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, there we go, Don. We got you. What's going on, my man?
Not much. Thank you for having me here.
Hey, a pleasure. Excited to have you here today. Obviously, 4 players signed, partnered. You're going to be number 5 here, and I'm excited to talk to you. Also, do want to, shout out to CLG. I know you're an OG CLG League of Legends fan, back to the Rush Hour bot lane days. I'm a big Afro Move fan, so I love that little connection there. But let's talk Guilty Gear. Let's talk FGC. You've competed in a bunch of different FGC titles over the years: Blaze Blue, Calamity Trigger, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, before now coming to Guilty Gear. How do you feel that wealth of experience helps you in competing today in Guilty Gear Strive?
I feel like it helps me in the sense that all 3 games share similar mechanics in terms of blocking in the air, ground neutral, air footsies, and grounded footsies. And I feel like I can use from each of those games, I could take from those skills and bring it into this one, even to Guilty Gear Strive, because it's so similar.
That's awesome, and it just means that, hey, even before Guilty Gear Strive came out, you were labbing those same techniques, those same kind of skill sets. So that's awesome to be able to carry that now into Series E. You've characterized your playstyle as, quote, momentum-based. Does that mean you're kind of really hot and cold based on how you're kind of feeling and playing that day, or is it more of you speed up and slow down the way that you play based on matchups and kind of the state of the game?
I would say a mixture of both.
Okay.
Especially since my character is Eno, so she overwhelms opponents with her offensive game, with her hover dash. So I feel I'm pretty good as a player in terms of just judging by the situation to speed up the momentum and the flow of the game with her offense to stopping and then going right back into it to throw off my opponent pretty much. So it's like shifting gears where they expect you to do one thing and then you just slow it down and then just change it up.
Okay, that's awesome. It seems like you, in the other Series E pros, we got to see a bunch of clips of you going against multiple different players that are signed today, Idiosyncrasy and others just in that little highlight package. It seems like you all have gotten to know each other fairly well, in the bracket at least, through qualifiers. Does that make things more fun for you, knowing that you're going to be competing against these same players week after week during the Series E season?
Oh yeah, it actually does make it very exciting. I went into all of this just wanting to get stronger and fight stronger players, and I placed 5th throughout this whole thing. So this for the players who got more points. So now I feel like this is a chance for me to replay it in this, to learn about the character, the matchups, and to kind of just increase my wins against all the players I'm playing against.
You talk about that competition through qualifiers, wanting to continue to improve and grow. What does a successful first season of Series E look like to you? Are you in first place or maybe even second, or is it more geared around you just want to be kind of a better player week after week?
Uh, both for me, but more importantly, to be a better player from week after week. But I'm definitely looking forward to proving to myself that I can play on either even playing field or even better than my competition.
All right. I think it's going to be a tough competition for all of you this season. I think it's going to be very, very fun to watch. I'm certainly looking forward to it. I'm going to hand you over to Tyler right now. We're going to find out. There's only 2 sponsors left. It's going to be Razer or Vizio. I'm looking forward to finding out who, but let's see what Tyler's got for you.
Don, how we doing, my man?
We're doing pretty good.
Yeah, you're looking good, dude. You're looking good. We've got 2 brands that are left. I got to be honest, they're pretty exciting brands. Vizio, Razer. You got a 50-50 shot. Obviously, you're going to be happy with both, but which one are you leaning towards that you'd be like, dang, this is sick?
Oh, I got to say, I'll be pretty happy with both, honestly.
There you go.
But if I had to say, Razer.
Okay.
Razer,
I mean, yeah, they're a legendary brand in the gaming industry for sure. I mean, there's only 2 left, so I might as well just, get down to it. And great interview, by the way, with JC, and looking forward to sort of your reaction after this and talking with Alex and Jimmy as well. It's so fun listening to all you guys talk about sort of the history of your path with the fighting games and all that good stuff. And it's just a ton of fun because I feel like the fighting game community is such a tight-knit community. And the fact that you guys are all very excited about Series E, it just gets me pumped up, man. So you are our one of the last ones here that we're going to sign. So very much looking forward to this. You've probably seen it, but we've got the wheel of sponsors that go, and we're going to find out which one it's going to be for you. So let's see it. Razer Vizio, Razer Vizio, Razer Vizio. He's happy with both, so it's a win-win. We've got, it's all clearly, no. I thought I was going to stop on Vizio. Dude, you got it. Razer, my man. Don Razer. Razer Don. Dude, that's a good ring to it, my man. That's awesome. How you feeling?
Nice.
Yeah, it does, huh? How you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling great.
Yes, sir.
I've always been a Razer fan, so.
Yes, sir. That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Well, we'll get you hooked up with a bunch of Razer gear as well as everyone else that's been a part of this too. But very excited to have you on board, Don. Earn that monthly salary, that contract, and of course, represent one of the most iconic brands in the esports gaming industry. That's Razer. Now, Razer Don, let's hear what you got to say with Jimmy, Alex, and JC again. Go ahead, fellas. Take it away.
Razer Don now joining us in the studio. I imagine you probably look pretty good in green, my man. How you feeling right now?
I feel amazing after hearing that.
That's awesome. Obviously, an exciting partnership. You're going to be in Series E. You're going to be representing the Razer brand. They've been a super, obviously iconic brand in the esports space for us a long time. They've also been fun to watch in Series E Apex Legends. Their team has been incredible on that side. So some big shoes to fill there, but I think you'll be able to do it here, Don. I got Jimmy and Alex here on the couch with me. They got some questions for you. I want to start with you, Jimmy. What do you got for Don?
Yeah, so in your bio, you talk about playing in laundromats and whatnot. So that's going back to our era, playing like the 7-Elevens and everything. Talk about how the scene is similar to now and then back then when you played at those laundromats.
How it was similar? I would say back then I was probably about like 5 years old, but there would always be a group of people playing like King of Fighters 98 or Marvel's Capcom 1 grouped up back at those laundromat days for me. And I was, I was like 5, so I was just putting in the quarter, just trying to play to have fun. But like, I met like a couple of friends that I would like even know from then to like middle school, and even like like older people who played like fighting games back then. So I feel like it's similar in a sense, because going into like about now, you still see some of the younger blood that's like trying to get into fighting games, and some of the older that's still like playing fighting games. So it feels not too different, other than like it's different games, and we're more refined at like playing those fighting games.
Very nice.
Yeah, Dom, my man, I'm so happy for you because number one, you're from SoCal, right? Number one, you're from SoCal, and number two, you play a character that is not necessarily the most favorite to pick in Guilty Gear Strive, even though she does got some significant buffs, but you're making it work. So kudos to that. So my question to you is like, what? First of all, what made you pick Eno, and then how have you been leveling up? Because I know you've only entered some of the Wednesday Night Fights events. So like, what has been your training regimen?
I would try to at least play the game for about a minimum about like 2 to 3 hours, because I would be trying to balance between my job and trying to study for school as well. But luckily the semester had just ended, so I have a lot more free time. But I would try to play for about 2 to 3 hours, if not more. I would like try to hit up games, like either hop into celestial lobbies, or I would just try to contact people through Discord, because I mean social media is power. So you pretty much just ask anyone for games. So I would just try any means that I can fight the strongest players I can to improve myself.
Yeah, it's I know from experience when I was starting to dabble into the modern anime games, the Discord community is the one that really held held the matchmaking in place, because it's that for, versus like all the other games or like Twitter and Facebook and stuff. It's kind of like the old social media, but Discord now is like the leader in matchmaking, and it's great to see somebody that can represent SoCal in Series Z. Much excitement, and proud of you, man.
Thank you.
Hey, it's awesome to see a SoCal rep. Obviously, we're a few SoCal boys over here, so we'll definitely be rooting for you, Don, and repping that Razor brand is obviously got to be incredibly exciting. So we're happy for you. Congratulations. Thanks so much for joining us, and we wish you the best of luck this season, Don. We're going to head back over to Tyler to see what's going on. One more player to go.
Get that Razor merch.
Thank you.
Congratulations again, my man Razor Dawn, looking good. He'll be looking better with a green headset on and possibly even sitting in one of those chairs. That's the Razor Isker, the most comfortable gaming chair on the market. And I'm not just saying that because Razor's a partner of ours. I'm saying it because that is currently my chair. I literally sit in that chair in the office. It's only being used in here for the show today. That mesh little part on the back right there, that's the back support. That's the lumbar support. Typical gaming chairs, you got that pillow. You usually just take that pillow and you toss it over the other side of the room, and then you got this like weird looking pillow with straps next to it, on the other side of your room. It's adjustable. It literally goes in and out to that perfect spot to where you're like, or that's how nice of a chair that is. It's also got a really unique feature on it that no other chair has. It lets you go up, or it lets you go up or down. Just like push the button. It's like whoosh. Revolutionary design, never ever seen before in a chair with that up and down mechanics that it has. Thanks again, Razor, for all your support you've given Esports Arena. Literally the best keyboards, mice, headsets, mouse pads, and now chairs in the game. So to hear it from Razor themselves, and then let's go to Charles and JC afterwards to sort of dissect the interview with Don. And thanks a lot, Razor, the whole Razor team, Michael, Dwayne, Bradley, CSON, and the Bobs. Can't thank you guys enough for all you've done for us and the support that you continue to give. But let's hear it away from Razor right now.
Let me be the first to welcome you to Team Razor. From 16 years ago when we built the world's first gaming mice, to now, we've just conquered the gaming space and been the first in the esports space, and we want to have you be part of it. So welcome to the team, and we're super excited to be part of Series E with Esports Arena.
Charles joining me one more time here in the studio. We just finished up talking to Dawn, who is now going to be Razor Dawn. Do you have any experience with laundromat Smash tournaments, Charles?
Laundromat Smash tournaments. Definitely the most common one is the card shop Smash tournament.
Yes,
that's probably
okay.
That
makes sense.
That along with laundromat, you know what I mean? So definitely like a cramped up card shop tournament. Those definitely go way back. But shouts to Don, man. Getting Team SoCal, so let's go. Let's go. And then on top of that, I feel like Razor's like the most optimal on paper sponsor here, right? in terms of just like, okay, what kind of stuff can I get and all that other stuff? Because like they have a bunch of cool gear, right?
Charles is here for the merch. He's thinking about it. I love it. You got your head in the right place there. So Razor, obviously, yes, an iconic brand, especially in the gaming space. Definitely an incredible partner. They've been awesome for us here at Esports Arena. We're obviously excited to have Dawn partnering with with them here. Was there anything that stood out for you in that interview? We got to talk to Don about a lot of things, his experience in different fighting games, how he's carried that now into this, especially to how excited he is about getting to play against kind of the same crop of players on a consistent basis and use that to grow and improve.
Yeah, for sure. I think what stood out to me the most, and this is going to be pretty common for a lot of players in the FGC, because there's so many different games you can get into. I feel like, so I come from Smash, and it really just comes down to like, okay, well, every like 4 to 5 years, right, a new Smash game comes out, and then everyone's learning process in that new Smash game. But I feel like FGC, there's so much genres that you can get into, so being able to jump into different genres is a very important skill, and like just how fast you can like learn and pick up like the said game that you're jumping to. So Don did go over that, which was really interesting to hear. And even the macro sense of how Don really handles how to improve, right? Because, I mean, newsflash, not everyone just has a buttload of time to just be like, yep, I'm going to commit like 16 hours a day just playing this game, and that's it. Nothing else in life's going on, right? So it was really cool and interesting to hear how Don really like manages his time, right? Like, okay, well, I only have, I'm going to school, maybe also have a job or whatnot, right? And you really have to make that 2 to 3 hours a day that you do put into training, and you got to really like make it worth, right? Like you got to optimize how much improvement you'll get from said time. And it was really cool to see his insight on that as a player, on the come up right now, and now getting this Razer sponsor is going to be a really big deal for Don moving forward. So it was just really cool to see the insight, because a lot of different players have a lot of different strategies when it comes to like their macro for improvement. Yeah,
Obviously you've got to get as much as you can out of that dedicated time to practice, and Don has obviously done that well enough that qualified for Series E, going to be competing with some really impressive names. I think the competition's going to be incredibly tight. Has there been, is there a single player that you're like looking at so far that you're like, that might be the one, maybe one you're looking at as a prediction for, topping Series E here in Season 1, maybe a standout for you?
For me, my two standouts, and this could just be like bias, of course.
Sure.
So, some
That's
California
fine.
bias, but Jonathan and Don are like the two players that stick out to me the most, and I really want them to come out and play really well. I like watching their characters too is really fun. Obviously, Don playing very momentum based, and he also even said he's a momentum based player, right? A character that has very unique mix-ups and stuff, so you can really just keep dashing in. You have those the aerial dash where you can go for overheads and all that other jazz, right? So really fun to watch play just a very hold forward aggressive character. And yeah, I mean, I can't wait to watch like when the series like starts and begins. It's gonna be really sick.
It's gonna be awesome. I'm certainly looking forward to it as well. 5 players done. Don joins Team Razer. We've got one more sponsor left. I don't know who it is. It'll probably be a surprise for all of you, but we're going to keep it rolling. One more player will join us here in Series E, and we're getting ready for that, so we'll keep Draft Day rolling.
We're going to do it in 3, 2, 1.
right, all right. It's that time again. Everyone look at the clock. You know what time it is. It's time for Series E Draft Day, the final player that we're announcing for the night. That's right. Got you all to look at the clock. Bingo, bango, bongo. Man, it's been a fun night. It's been a fun day. They're out there watching Jingle All the Way, Arnold Schwarzenegger. What's it? Sinbad? That's how we take production seriously here at Esports Arena. But honestly, all 5 players thus far have been phenomenal. You just saw, again, the Walmarts, all of our locations. You can go every Wednesday night pretty much and compete like Wednesday night fights, as if it's like right there, you know, or just come out whenever and just compete against some buddies of yours every Thursday night, which is tonight, right? Tonight's Thursday? Yeah. Right? Yeah, today's Thursday. Thursday night, Super Smash Brothers tournament at most of our Walmart facilities. Look it up. Go to esportsarena.com. Get in your car, drive down, take your controller with you. If you don't have one, someone will let you borrow one. We got some too. But you can play Smash tonight at all of our esports arenas. We put prize pools up, all that good stuff. Take a look at it, esportsarena.com, for all those locations and events. All right, it is finally time for the last player of the night. No idea who this sponsor is going to be. We've got one remaining sponsor left. That's Vizio. Is Vizio going to sponsor this particular player? And this particular player is Jonathan Tenay. All right, this is going to be epic. We don't know, is he going to be a Vizio sponsor? Is he going to be a Vizio sponsor? But before we find out which sponsor he's going to be, let's find out how he got here to Series E and how Jonathan Tenay qualified for Season 1 Guilty Gear Strive Series E. And Yeso's got an interview right after that too. So go ahead and roll it.
The game is playing. All these characters are so oppressive defensive options. Not even have any chance to reverse if the pressure comes on. YRC. Nice grab. There's on grenade. Set up your letting pressure. Oh, the YRC broke the wall.
Putting you on the offense, you're doing your job wrong. And with the buffs, the Eddie will definitely help that out. Look at that. The bar already back with it. Leapfrog for the pressure. ERC, we out of there though. Hold this throw. Where do they go? Madman for the callouts and the dash up shark weak. He's got Barter right RC. We'll find the fish with a 2H and A.
Big frog. Life thing here. Too bad.
Anti-air. Bit better, but sits on the fireball. Knockdown. DP deleted. Razo defeated. Jonathan Tenay on set point.
All right, last but certainly not least, we've got Jonathan Tenay joining me in the studio for Series E Guilty Gear Draft Day. Jonathan, welcome to the show and happy Draft Day. How are we doing today?
Doing pretty good.
Good. I'm excited to have you here. We've got to talk to all of the players so far, and I'm finally stoked to get our final representative here with me. I want to start with talking about your kind of former experience in the FGC. You used to be competing in Dragon Ball Fighters. Now you've moved over to Guilty Gear Strive. What was it about Strive that brought you over from Dragon Ball Fighters?
So to be honest, like I tried the Strive betas, and obviously the online's good, right? So I want to play it because the online's good, and we're obviously can't go outside all the time because of COVID. But also, like when Strive launched, I figured out that we have locals for that game, and we didn't have locals for Dragon Ball at the time. And for Dragon Ball, I went to WNF for NorCal as much as I could. I'm in SoCal now because college, but definitely went to WNF in NorCal a lot. So locals are very, very important to me. And so because the locals were Strive, I just ended up playing a lot of Strive.
That's awesome. Hey, welcome to the neighborhood. Happy to have you down here in SoCal. With that experience then in Dragon Ball Fighters and now in Guilty Gear, how exciting is it to have something like Series E coming into the scene to shine a light on that fresh and up-and-coming talent just like yourself?
I think it's pretty cool because, like, I mean, I probably wouldn't have played a lot of these players, or I wouldn't have gotten the chance to play a lot of these players otherwise. So the fact that there's like a whole, event where they have, good players all play each other is pretty cool. I like it.
I think there's going to be some awesome little kind of budding rivalries here in Series E with all of you getting to compete against each other consistently week to week, and I'm looking forward to see kind of how that develops throughout the season. I'm curious, what are you most looking forward to this season and beyond as you continue your professional Guilty Gear journey? What do you kind of hope to get out of this whole experience?
Usually I don't like focus too much on like the result or like winning. I usually focus a lot more on like sort of like the interactions that happen in games and like, oh, why did I lose this round or whatever? How did I like let them get away with this thing and stuff like that. But usually when you're under pressure, those situations happen to they happen a lot more. So I'm just happy to get the experience out of all this.
Well, and the awesome part is that, being able to focus on those interactions and learning where you can improve and building upon that, the results will come with that, right?
Yeah.
You continue to build on that and build that foundation, and then the results will be there. So super excited to see that. I think it's going to be an awesome experience to get to watch you and all of these players continue to compete and grow. So I'm certainly looking forward to it. But I'm not going to make you wait any longer. You've waited all the way to the end of the show to find out who you're going to represent here in Series E. So I'm going to hand you off to Tyler so we can all see who you will be representing this time around.
What is up, Jonathan Tenay? Did I hear right that you went to WNF in Oakland? You said you were up there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's awesome, man. That's that was a great times with Oakland up there. It's a shame the pandemic happened and unfortunately had to close it down, but we missed that spot. But glad to have you down here in SoCal, which I hear around the corner from our new headquarters here in Irvine.
Yeah, I'm actually going to UCI, so it's pretty convenient.
Oh, that is very convenient. Yeah, we got to have you stop by. We'll actually we'll show you around and whatnot and do some cool content and do some fun stuff with you here at our new studios here. That'd be a good time. But I don't know which brand you're going to get to film that content with, but this brand is also based out of Irvine, California, so that's also very convenient. But regardless, we're going to go through the whole shebang just because, it's the glitz and the glamour. So let's go ahead and get the whole. Well, first of all, out of all the brands that are left, before this thing finishes, who are you looking to get? Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Who are you? Out of all the brands, which would be the brand that you would? Well, out of all the brands that are left, which would be the brand that you would really want to be?
I'm gonna say Vizio.
I would want that too, right? Best television in the world, right? It's set for already the next gen consoles and everything like that for games and everything. Well, let's find out to see if you are going to be, in fact, Jonathan Tenay representing Vizio. Let's roll it. Here we go. Whew, man, I'm actually a little nervous. Just kidding. All right. Woohoo! Vizio it is. My man, Jonathan Tenay. Congratulations is now Vizio Jonathan Tenay. Congrats, dude. Honestly, Vizio is one of the best televisions in the game. They have this whole new lineup that's basically set and ready to go for all the next-gen consoles. It's got incredible detail, lightning quick response time, all that good stuff. And, dude, gotta feel pretty good. Obviously, Vizio literally is one of the coolest televisions in the world, and now you get to be represented by them. How you feeling?
Pretty good. Like going into the whole draft thing, the ones that I really wanted were Intel, Razer, or Vizio. So I'm happy I got one of the ones I wanted.
All the tech brands. Makes sense. It does make sense indeed. Well, very cool. Well, we've got Alex, Jimmy, who you probably know pretty well, as well as JC on the other end of this wall over here. And they're going to get some more feedback from you now that you're Vizio Jonathan Tenay. Congrats, brother.
Thanks.
Congratulations, Jonathan. One of the three brands you were, had your eye on coming into draft day, and it all works out in the end. You had to wait a little while, but we're excited that you are exactly where you want to be. Definitely looking forward to watching you this season. I've got Jimmy and Alex joining me here in the studio one final time, gentlemen. Awesome to see that. Any questions here for Jonathan?
Yeah, actually, a little fun facts of what I've gathered. So one, thank you so much for joining Wednesday Night Fights Oakland. We had an amazing time with the NorCal community there, coming out every week. So I'm very glad that you happen to have an experience there. It was really fun. Even when we went, it was amazing. So thank you. And then next, you're a young notable Dragon Ball Fighters player. I think known for your Brawly, I believe. Yeah. So I've done a little bit of research. Yeah. So keep up the great work there, and you've been representing the West Coast for Dragon Ball. And the other thing is you've heard that you trained with Apology Man for Rebel Kumite. Is that? You did. Okay. So just the things that these stories, these hidden gems that people may not know of, like even your young influence on the current veterans of the scene it goes a long way. So my actual question to you now, you've entered Wednesday Night Fights Series E qualifiers kind of late, and with one of the characters that is very unique, Zato. Now that you made it, you barely made it to the Series E, which we're really happy about, but what are you going to bring to the table versus all the veterans that are in it right now?
That's a kind of a hard question. I'm not too good at like, gassing myself up or whatever, but I don't know. I think that Zato is really, really good right now. Like he's been my favorite character since the start of the game. But like in the first patch, I played Soul because I thought he was just like way better than Zato. But coming from Dragon Ball, obviously, playing a character that has an assist is pretty. It's a lot more natural to me, right? Because I can extend my pressure with like something else and keep it going, and also do like cool mix-ups or whatever. So I'm really happy that I get to play my favorite character.
No, it's great. One of the most important things though is when anybody plays a fighting game, I always suggest play the characters that look cool to you, that you like, that you identify, because when you do that, the curiosity is gonna push your talent forward. Because if you don't end up liking the character, you're just gonna kind of carbon copy whatever everybody else is doing, and you're not gonna have a great time. So I'm glad you found your stride in Guilty Gear Strive for Series E Season 1. Thank you.
And speaking of character selection, talk about what you went through, what the thought process of trying to figure out who should you main between Soul and Zato. What was between the two characters that got your attention? Say, all right, I'm gonna put Zato first, Soul back up.
Well, I think that like my Zato is probably just going to be better because first of all, you have to spend a lot of time in training mode with him, and I do that like a lot, especially like even in Dragon Ball, I spend tons of time in training mode. So that definitely suits me pretty well. But also just because he's my favorite, I'm probably going to be, whether I can help it or not, putting more time into Zato. But he has some like character matchups that I don't like fighting, like most notably like Axel and Ram, and I think Soul does really well against those characters. And my Soul is definitely not as good as it used to be, but I think it's still worth just like keeping him as a backup for those characters.
So do you find the complexity of Zato to be more of a challenge and more fun than playing Soul?
Yeah, for sure. It's like it's harder to like start out, right? But then once I get the hit, it feels a lot more natural because I'm used to doing mix-ups with an assist behind me or whatever, right?
Yep. Awesome. It's great to hear. Yeah, I love Zato too. He's just, when you look at him, he's a crazy character play. He has Eddie to back him up, and it's just like, how do you play a character? How do you play against it? And just having that edge of confusion on your opponent is definitely one way to go into a match with that upper hand.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome to hear from you, Jonathan. I do want to say, don't worry about gassing yourself up. I think we got a bunch of people here that will be more than happy to gas you up regularly. I know Charles has got his eye on you. He's looking out for you to succeed and do well in Series E, and I will definitely be doing the same. So super excited about that. We appreciate your time. Congratulations once again on making it into Series E and on this Vizio partnership. We're definitely looking forward to seeing you this season, but we're going to hand it back over to Tyler one more time.
Thanks.
Well, that's it, folks. All players have been drafted. I'll probably go recap in the other room with Jimmy and Alex right after this to just kind of give our predictions, talk about draft day, talk about next steps, all that good stuff. So stay tuned right after that. But obviously, Vizio, we cannot thank them enough for their support. Guys, it's also really great, too, that a company like Vizio is seeing value in esports as well. Irvine-based company, they're right around the corner from us as well. And we're going to be doing a lot of cool things with Vizio in the coming months. So stay tuned for that. But special shout out to Matt and Tara for all your guys' help and belief in Series E and Esports Arena. If you guys are looking for that new holiday gift, you're looking for that television to play the next-gen consoles on, walmart.com/esports arena. Vizio's all over the place. And I'm telling you guys, they really, truly are the best, in my opinion, the best television in the game. They've got a great user experience. They got great UI, all that good stuff, and they even have their own channels as well that you can go through and watch esports on it too. So ideally, you'll see a lot of Series E with Vizio in the coming months, and that's what we're planning on doing. But congratulations to Vizio, Jonathan Tenay, SoCal, Irvine Boy. Looking forward to meeting you in person. Looking forward to doing a lot of content with all 6 players for Esports Arena Series E, Guilty Gear Strive. Thank you, Level Up. Thanks, everyone else. We'll see you guys over in the next studio over here right after this video from Vizio. Go ahead, take it away.
Hi, this is Colby Mathis, COLBY-MATHIS, and I'm representing Vizio. We at Vizio are always looking into new opportunities and partnerships in the gaming world in order to showcase our award-winning gaming TVs and soundbars. That being said, we are super excited to announce our partnership with Esports Arena Series E. We look forward to all of the exciting action that's coming this season. Welcome to the Vizio team.
Sorry, I should have given you an update. all right, we're back. It's no longer JC. It's Tyler in the hot seat now. Vi, Jimmy, how you feeling? First draft day done.
Honestly, this was like a first to us. Like, you know, typically we see, you know, NFL draft, NBA draft, like a phone and, you know, Blazers and like the you know, it's
the
like
family,
like
all
the
the
family's all like, oh, you got it, all right, yeah. So it was a wonderful experience.
Yeah,
so thank you guys so much for doing this for the players.
Dude, no, it's kind of a first for us, but like as I said before, it's like we're not looking to do this with, you know, just Esports Arena. We need the pros, we need the guys who do this as a living, and obviously we want to make sure that we're doing it right. And so it's the reason why we teamed up with you guys, because you guys can handle it right. It's one of those things that, like, look, we want to serve the fighting game community the way we already have been, which is, you said, just let Level Up do it. So, and that's been working out pretty well for us. Jimmy, how you feeling?
No, I mean, it is great to see the reactions, right? Because, you know, as some of them have said, no, they just played the games for the love of it, and now here they are having the opportunity to represent not just a brand, but themselves, the community, and Series E Esports Arena, and just it's a lot of responsibility to shoulder.
Yeah.
But I think it's a great life learning lesson for them to help them grow in their journey to become the next level of player.
100%. And I think when we started doing this originally with Apex Legends, we saw the first round of players come out of this. They were good players, and then we had 9 teams. So we had the top 4 teams stay on board, and the bottom 5 essentially got relegated, and then newer teams came in. And then the season after that, the leaderboard was swapped because more and more players found out about Series E as we were streaming and as the players were tweeting about it and things like that. Do you see a lot more players that maybe didn't recognize this opportunity originally, and now they're going to be jumping on the scene once they start seeing that their money's involved and you know, I'm better than this guy, you know what I mean? I could start playing better and things like that. Do you see that happening?
Yeah, most definitely. I think it's pretty fair for players to be a little skeptical, because they're like, anytime there's brand sponsors and things that they don't understand because they haven't actually been a part of it yet, they're gonna wait until, like, okay, let's see what this is.
Yeah.
And then after they see like the celebration behind it, the effort put between all the orgs, the players too, I think they're in for a treat. They're in for a treat, and we know this because Esports Arena has a history of bringing people up from the development league era and into professional orgs, right?
Professional orgs. I mean, yesterday was a prime example of one of our best signings that we've had. He competed for Team Esports Arena in Apex Legends Global Series and now is signed by TSM. So he just signed with TSM yesterday, and that's, I mean, look, there's great orgs, there's CLG, Cloud9, TSM, etc. But TSM in Apex Legends is like the New York Yankees to baseball, right? Like they're that elite of a team, and they have some of the best players on their team that get that viewership, the online recognition. This player went from having 500 followers on Twitter to now having almost 15,000 followers in a matter of a week, right?
Yeah.
And so that type of exposure is really ideally what Series E can bring to the scene. And of course, Apex Legends is now blown up. I'm not saying it's because of Series E by any means, but I'd say we had a little bit of a part in that for sure by creating a foundational and consistent competitive content that's out there for players that they don't always have. So is that something that Guilty Gear needs? Is this something that Guilty Gear is gonna I just want to say strive off of, but is this something that it's gonna do pretty well with, you think?
Yeah, I mean, like with anything that seeks success, it has to have multiple factors that play into it, multiple role players, and even though Series E may not be like the huge part of it, but it's a essential part of it, right? And like we talked about earlier in the show, talking about how anime was always like that third wheel, and FGC was always that third wheel.
Yeah.
But now, here they are, forefront, Series E. We just got 6 players sponsored today. People are like, okay, it's kind of like having that first model of something come out. Like, I want to see how it performs.
Yeah.
Right? But here it is. Now we're going to see that first run of an FGC sponsored by these brands.
I mean, and the thing is, it's okay to be skeptical within esports because there's been a ton of esports companies that have tried and have failed, unfortunately. But with us, this was something that we had big brands, support us. We obviously have the comfort of Walmart there to help those brands sort of feel more comfortable, and ideally we could have their in-person tournaments back and safe and comfortable. And now all those brands have products there that you could at least interact with. And if you are in the market for a new TV, or if you're getting headaches and you need those things, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to the brands that support you and the scene that you enjoy, as opposed to just buying what's on the shelf at the best price or something like that. So it gives us an opportunity to really show off those brands and what they can do for esports and what we can do for esports in the scene, which is really cool. I was very impressed with all the interviews today. I thought these guys were hilarious. I thought they all had like really great personalities. It seems they all know each other. They all care about each other. They want the scene to succeed. That's what they're most excited about. But for you guys, I got to hear it out. Who's taking season 1 of Guilty Gear Strive Series E?
Okay, it's honestly it's going to be really difficult to pick that person because every one of them has shown consistency. Even though some of them came in late, but they showed us a taste of what's to come.
Yeah.
Okay, but I mean, if I were to actually have to pick, it's really difficult from like Razo and Shine, because they've really dominated everybody. But in the qualifiers, and you know what happens in qualifiers? Now the tapes are out. The tapes are out. No, seriously, the tapes are out now. Now they got a huge target on their back. And now that there's, weekly competitions only for them, it's going to be a tough road for them. It really is. So that's why I'm saying, like, even though they may be the forerunners in the qualifiers, Solstice can come up, the Dawn, right? Idiosyncrasy, like they can start starting to move that needle.
All right, well.
All right.
Okay. Give me the pick. Who is it going to be?
Probably Razo.
Right? Razo?
Just because the consistency speaks for itself.
Yeah.
I'm not a favorite here. It's more facts. So if Razo can keep up the consistency, then that's a great shot.
That's awesome. Yeah. It's funny even hearing you talk about it. It's like we just want everyone to succeed. We just want everyone. I mean, we honestly do, yeah. But at the same time, it's like, who's the pick? Who's taking home the trophy? Jimmy, who's taking home the trophy?
I have the same opinion. I like to see the roller coaster. I like to see the back and forth, just because that's what built rivalries, right? And without rivalries, FGC wouldn't be where it's at today, right?
Yeah.
Personally, I would love to see Potemkin shine, because the guy's a grappler. Who does not love grapplers, right? But I think Razo, just based on the performance from not just Wednesday Night Fights, but also Red Bull Kumite, LCQ, Razo has a really, really good chance of taking it all.
Man. Okay, so I mean, given the fact that you guys know the most about this scene, and I know probably the least about this scene, I should probably go Razo as well if you guys are telling me that. But I'm just going to go out an outlier here, and I'm going to go with the SoCal Boy 10A. I'm thinking, was that a decent one?
No, I'm going to tell you this. This is very common, okay, that the dark horses, Jonathan Tene is definitely a dark horse. Is a dark horse.
My man.
Like Dragon Ball Fighters God in the West Coast, okay, and the young FGC, like they're the ones doing the crazy stuff to us all day long. It's natural. The crazy stuff is natural to them.
Yeah.
And we're eventually catching up, like a year in, like what the hell? From gatekeeping them for the year, just to get their feet wet, to like, I don't know what you're doing anymore. So that's where Jonathan Tene can come in.
He could bring in some whole new strategies that haven't been seen before, because he's a dark horse. He's studied the scene for so long. He's been good at the historical games that he could bring over that sort of skill set to this newer title, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Is what I'm hearing in the translation.
Yeah. Also, different perspectives too, because like as more seasoned you are, you're kind of used to seeing certain things happen, but with fresh eyes, younger insight into how games work. We've seen it with other things like Capcom Pro Tour, right? We've seen these underdogs that we'd never think would win, or these names that you never heard of, they just surprise us. It's just because the way they see the game. It's not like how us seasoned guys see it. It's just like, I don't care what they think. I'm just doing my thing, right? And again, with Series E, I think you're going to see a lot of surprises.
Well, man, that's got me hyped up. I think that's going to be pretty sick. Tyler, you told me, are we doing the Intel? We're closing it out. We're doing, okay, awesome. That sounds great. Well, I think we're ready to just end the show here today, fellas. But we've got Wednesday next week, right?
Yeah,
yeah. We're starting it up.
Yes, sir.
And then, are you on the couch? Are you on the casting couch there for us all?
No, I'm on the ones and twos.
Oh, you're on the ones and twos.
I'm on the
You're
ones
pushing
and
buttons.
twos. I'm pushing buttons. Yeah, pushing buttons. Make sure they look good. You know what I mean?
I like that. I like that. That's right. Charles is going to be the one casting it for us. Exactly. All right. Well, this has been actually a ton of fun for me, getting to know a whole new scene, getting to know some new some faces, and some familiar ones. Like I said, 10A looked familiar to me, and it's probably because I've been up to Oakland a few times for Wednesday night fights, and he's probably been down to SoCal a few times for Wednesday night fights as well. So the three of us have gone back a ton of time, like a long time ago. I mentioned it before, but you know, the history that we have together, and you guys giving us the clout that we needed in the fighting game community with Esports Arena in Santa Ana. And now it's kind of, you know, we're adapting to this new world, and Series E is just one of those things I felt was a perfect fit for this, and happy to have you fellas on board and looking forward to the years to come that we got coming out of this. So that's my closing words. What do you guys got?
I'm looking forward to building more roads, just with you and for everybody else involved, and just seeing so much passion, so much work going behind the scenes. We know it's legit, right? You guys, we can't say anymore. That's why we worked with Esports Arena for so long. It's because we paved the roads together, and we know the struggles. We know how it feels to be successful, and also have our shortcomings as well. So looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, just to jump on that, like, I advise everybody to like celebrate the players that have reached this milestone, because it could be you. Right? It could be you, and then they're just gonna congratulate you, because the competition, after a while, we all kind of like, when it's done, when the tournament's done, everybody goes eats and talks about what they did right or wrong. That's what the FGC is about. The FGC is about what happens after the tournament. Like, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna plan? I'm gonna see you at the next event. I'm so happy you got sponsored. Oh, you know, like, you capture that, and I just hope that we can all put on a great show to bring up the next stars.
I'm very much looking forward to this. You guys brought up rivalries, things like that. It sounds like if I played, you know, Shine this past week, and he took me out last week, but I know I could get better at it, and so then you're competing it, you're practicing these moves that you're basically going to take Shine out next week because of what he did to you this previous week. So I love that. I'm very much looking forward to this. We're going to build a lot of storylines around this. I think we're going to make some pretty awesome content. And it sounds like we may have a potential world champion on our hands as well, too, when it comes to Guilty Gear. So very much looking forward to this. Thank you all for tuning in. It's been an awesome day. You've got our picks. You've got the two Razzos right here. And I'm going with the Dark Horse 10A to take it for the first season of Series E Draft, or Series E Guilty Gear Strive. This has been Draft Day, Season 1. Thanks so much, everyone. We'll see you guys next week.
I just need you to not die. There's one left. I need you to win this fight. You should have rested. Lose like this every time. Go ahead and cry. You're not getting better. This isn't fine. We can't play together. Tell me, where are you looking? There's no way that you cannot see what I see. Tell me, where are you looking? No way that you cannot see what I see. Tell me, where are you looking? There's no way that you cannot see what I see. And tell me, where are you looking? There's no way that you cannot see what I see. Going left, I need you by my side. Going left, while you're always on the right. Don't decide, I just need you to barely try. No, I fry, I just need you to not die. There's one left, I need you to win this fight. You should have rested, lose like this every time. Go ahead and cry, you're not getting better. This isn't fine, we can't play together. And tell me, where are you looking? There's no way that you cannot see what I see. And tell me, where cannot see what I see. Tell me, where are you looking? There's no way that you cannot see what I see. Tell me, where are you looking? There's no way that you cannot see what I see.
Rolling up another 35.